everybody, cars are rolling, and it has taken a little bit of a while due to rain delay as well, but they are rolling and we are getting ready for the start of the Advent Health 400, and the cars just circulating on their pace laps, and we will be joining your commentary team momentarily of USRN, and we shall join them now, hopefully, as we get it sorted. Let's join them now.
What drivers will do often as they come towards the start-finish line, they'll cut that dog leg to the apron, much like we see at Phoenix or other D-shaped ovals like this. It's perfectly legal here. You do have to be careful to not damage the floor of the race car, making the transition from the banking to the apron and back up. Drivers will want to sling their cars to driver's right as close to the retaining wall to their outside to arc it down into turn 1. Once they get into turns 1 and 2, they're met with more progressive banking. 17 degrees of banking at the bottom. In the middle, about 18 degrees. At the top, 20 degrees of banking. That variable banking gives these drivers all sorts of options on where they want to run around this racetrack at this end in turns 1 and 2. When they spill out of turn 2, they'll hit the back straightaway and into the view of Gaffney, South Carolina's Seth Eves.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. This backstretch is very, very wide. How wide? 70 feet wide. Now, compare that to Talladega's backstretch, which we think is one of the widest and most exciting in all the sport. The Kansas backstretch is 22 feet wider. 5 degrees of banking. Then you'll go into 3 and 4, and like with 1 and 2, 17 to 20 degrees of progressive banking and room to operate on the low groove or on the high groove. You want to get momentum built up for a late run to the checkered flag. Should be exciting for 267 laps. I'll be where all the action happened in the final lap of this race 1 year ago.
That's exactly right. We had the two great finishes at this track last year. The Larson and Hamlin battle that resulted in Larson in the wall with half a lap to go and Hamlin getting by for the win. That was in the spring. Then the playoff race late summer, early fall. We talked about that earlier if you were with us on USRN. Tyler Reddick, a 3-wide pass coming to the white flag to win that race and advance into the next round of the playoffs. So,
One thing.
Yep, go ahead.
One thing I'm going to be curious to see is, and I love bringing this up, how different the setups for these cars. How are they going to adjust? Because remember, they built these cars to run in the daytime, preferably, hopefully in the sun, where nothing was going on. The track was clean and it was all in daylight. Well, we've had rain. We've had it completely rubber, so it's a completely green racetrack. And we're going to have it under the lights with an even cooler temperature. So I'll be curious to see how these cars handle for a race that they just didn't necessarily prepare for.
Well, that's exactly right. It's a green racetrack. It's much cooler. Temperatures are in the low 60s here to start. And again, that green racetrack certainly is what these drivers and crew chiefs will be concerned about as this race carries on. They'll try to get rubber set in on the track. And just bear with us as we go. Rain delays and stuff like that creates a lot of things that are out of our control, so just bear with us as we go on throughout the night. But we are here and ready to go finally for this 400-mile race. Parade and pace laps, there's going to be a few extra than we normally have because they're still drying pit lane where the cars have been, of course, this whole time. So they are still trying to get pit lane dried. In fact, right down in front of us here, we're seeing about 6 or 7 air dryers, air titans as they're called, still drying pit road. The track, though, is dry. Now, that's the racing surface that's dry. Now, The apron has been dried off here on the main straightaway. Mentioned earlier, well, just a moment ago, that these drivers will cut down to the apron on the main straightaway. That has been dried. What has not, though, Seth, is all of that real estate below the white line of the backstretch. That's all paved, no grass back there, but that has not been dried because that is not quote-unquote part of the racing surface. So don't get down there where all that rainwater has been pushed and puddled below the apron on the backstretch.
Absolutely. And you will be in an absolute pickle if that's the case.
So still a little bit away from the start with those parade and pace laps, those extra ones as mentioned. But we will be ready to go here in a matter of time. Spectacular sequence of races that we are getting towards here. Starting today, we've got Kansas tonight, we've got Darlington next week, then we've got All-Star Weekend at North Wilkesboro. We'll close out May with, of course, one of the crown jewels. That's the World 600 at Charlotte. We always talk about how wonderful May is, and it most certainly is, and for many reasons it's because of races that go on at Indianapolis, and then a race that doesn't even involve automobiles in Louisville, Kentucky. But this May stretch in the Cup Series, Seth, it can't get much better with the entertainment that we're going to get from Kansas, Darlington, North Wilkesboro, and Charlotte.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's about as good a 4-race stretch as you could find.
Of course, Kansas will be a part of the playoff schedule as well. So we talked earlier in the season when we went to places like Atlanta and Las Vegas and Bristol. Always important when you get 2 dates at a track and one of them is going to be in the playoffs. You want to figure out how your car runs, what the setup needs to be for when we return to that place in the playoffs. That's what these drivers and teams will certainly be thinking about as this night goes on. It's the first time racing at Kansas under the lights since 2020. Denny Hamlin won that race, if memory serves. And, of course, that was with the reshuffled 2020 schedule, of course, during the pandemic. And the Fox cameras caught up with Kyle Larson during the rain delay. Let's see what Kyle had to say.
To run hard, like I don't think any of, well, I definitely don't care, but I don't think Cliff cares if he crashes probably either. So, like, I would want him to run hard. Like, I mean, it's only what, a 55-minute practice probably. Like, just get after it. Yeah, like get after it.
No, Kev.
I'm starting to wonder about what I've got myself into. Not only do I have to drive the car of the best driver on the circuit as far as talent and speed and everything he's got going on, now you guys are starting to put pressure on me. Are you behind this?
Well, you didn't think you were just going to get in this 5 car, right, and just be on the racetrack, just be present. You have to have it up front.
Yeah, I'm going to lean on that guy, Cliff Daniels. He's I've been communicating with him a little bit this week on getting the seat and everything in the car. So it's a huge undertaking for these guys, but I guess it's only 2 weeks away, so I better wrap my arms around it pretty quick.
Do they have a
Kyle talking about there in that clip that we played you, what Kevin Harvick should do during practice. Of course, that was announced last week. Harvick's going to practice Larson's number 5 at North Wilkesboro while Larson is in Indianapolis. Do you know the greatest news that I've gotten in quite some time, Seth? I just got it. There's not going to be a competition caution.
Wow. Boy, talk about a refreshing change of pace.
Now, that is a massive upset, that there's not going to be a competition caution. NASCAR has religiously, in situations like this, when there's been a change of track condition, for whatever reason, they will throw a competition caution to check tire wear at lap 20, 25, 30, whatever it may be. But there is not going to be a competition caution here tonight. Just to mention, we didn't mention it earlier, fuel window is anywhere between 60 and 67 laps for this race. Nobody from that starting grid we read to you earlier is going to the rear of the field, so everyone will start in their qualified starting positions. And just trying to get pit road completely dry, and once they do, we will be ready to race. Artemi Panarin has scored 4-2.
I thought you said you weren't going. Well, we still are under yellow. I was going to say, I thought you weren't going to do that.
4-2. Yuck.
Well, it's a marathon, not a sprint series.
That's right. That's what I'm going to try to keep saying. Well, for those of you on JBMotorsports that have hopped on with us, we hope that you enjoyed coverage of the Miami Grand Prix, where Lando Norris trumped Max Verstappen at the checkered flag. Maybe I'll throw that into my call tonight. I don't know.
Yep. Wow. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
You're going to alienate some listeners is what you're trying to do.
Well.
Okay, I like it.
Anyhow, hope you did, in all seriousness, enjoy coverage of the Miami Grand Prix on JB Motorsports and on USRN2. Here we are on the Deuce, ready to go for this rain-delayed Advent Health 400 at Kansas. On USRN tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the last game of the first round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, Game 7 between Vegas and Dallas. That's at 7:30 on USRN as scheduled. Jarek Rubel on the call, ready to get back onto hockey after spent some time away. He was sick for a little bit of that too. Hope if Jarek, if you are listening, which he was listening earlier, I know, to our game show portion on USRN, probably thinking, what the hell are these idiots doing? Hope Jarek is doing well.
Thinking, what have I got myself into? Jarek Rubel, as I like to call him on occasion.
Yeah, that's the French pronunciation of his name, and hopefully he'll be joining us in Paris for the Olympics.
Oh, oui.
What can we get Jarek on? What can we get Jarek on? There's so
breakdancing.
Now that would be good. I don't know how you do a radio call of that, but that would be good. I want to get the Joshes in on the Olympics too. Birch and Josh T, come on. Come join us in Paris for the Olympics.
That'll be something.
That would be something.
Field's coming down the pit road, I believe.
Here's what I want to do. I want Josh Birch on fast-paced... Oh, dear. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because Josh T is messaging me. Josh listens to us while doing 1,000,001 other things. Which, again, he's got to be one of the most organized people you can imagine to be able to listen to everything that he listens to all at once. Anyway, we are on JBM, so Josh's, please join us for the Olympics this year if you so choose. Let's see, what do we want to have them on? Okay, here we go. I want Josh T on canoeing.
Okay.
And I want Josh Birch on badminton.
Oh, dear God. Lord knows you keep up with it. He's that way as well.
He could do it. He could do it, man. He could do it. Oh, Lord. Drivers did come down pit road just a moment ago to make sure that the pit lane is dry. It looks like they have given the thumbs up to NASCAR, which means NASCAR is going to give the thumbs up to us, Seth, and we are coming down finally for the start at Kansas.
Oh, boy, we've waited a while for this, but, well, folks, we think it's going to be well worth the wait. It should be a dandy. Kansas has been one of the best tracks in NASCAR in recent years. What will tonight bring for the start of the Advent Health 400? Walnut Cove, North Carolina's Matthew Owens.
Green flag in the air, and it's finally time to drop the hammer at Kansas. Front row, Christopher Bell on the outside, Ross Chastain to his left elbow, and they're still dead even, nose to nose, as they race through turns 1 and 2.
Side by side, off of turn 2. Oh, one car almost got the wall there in the middle of the pack, but it's Bell and Chastain side by side as they continue to weave, dodge, and dive a little further back in the pack. It's still Bell and Chastain side by side for the race lead.
And they stay side by side out of 4. Coming to the line, Chastain crowds Bell a bit to the outside. Bell leads the lap by a nose. Noah Gregson closes in as the battle for the lead is still raging on. They're back in turn 2.
Back in turn number 2, Chastain with the slim edge over Chris Bell. And Bell on the outside of the purple car. The light blue Chevy of Chastain dives it right down to the bottom. Chastain has the race lead slowly through 3. Bell fights back on the high side.
Historically in NASCAR, when you get drivers pent up for a handful of hours, not racing when they should be, they come out and put on a terrific show for the first 20 or 30 laps. That's what Ross Chastain and Christopher Bell's doing here.
And they are doing a very good job. And Chastain, though, will get the clear off Bell. So Chastain clear to the lead off of turn 2. Move Bell back into second place. But it's Ross Chastain showing the way. Further back, battle here as Ty Gibbs tries to weave through Kyle Busch.
And those two, Kyle Busch is there, Austin Cindric's there, so too is Michael McDowell, and here's Busch slicing to the inside of both Cindric and Gibbs. They go 3 wide in turn 1. They're going to stack them up 3 across the racetrack here for 5th.
Yeah, 3 wide for 5th. We'll see how that actually works. Could be a bit of an interesting one right there. As is Chastain and Gibbs, or excuse me, not Chastain, Cindric and Gibbs side by side. Busch, though, coming back inside, 3 wide almost again. Gibbs, though, with a great run, clears them.
Yeah, got the run off the top side and then cut across the nose of both Cindric and Busch. So Gibbs holds on to that 5th position. Now it's a 3-way fight for 6th. Busch on the bottom of the racetrack, Cindric above him. Michael McDowell follows.
Michael McDowell will try to tuck in line behind Austin Cindric, and he will tuck in line. So now we're back single file. You have to go back till you get side by side. That's around 16th with Austin Dillon, Joey Logano, and Bubba Wallace. Logano packs it down to the inside. Chase Briscoe's also in that mess.
Briscoe slings it up out of turn number 4. He's going to charge down to the inside right next to the right door handle of Joey Logano's machine. Meanwhile, back in turn 1, McDowell and Cindric fight for 7th. Chris Buescher's there too.
Yeah, and Buescher's going to get a good run on the high side and get past McDowell. Meanwhile, further up, here's Kyle Larson to the inside of Noah Gregson. It's 8th and upper 3 position. Great pass by that red, white, and blue number 5.
Larson stuffed it into 3, and it stuck for him on this green racetrack. He takes over the 3rd position. A little bit in back of those guys, Martin Truex Jr. and Chase Elliott are door-to-door going to turn 1. And meanwhile, at the front, a fight for the lead begins to bubble up again off turn 2.
Bell goes back to the inside briefly, then tucks back in line behind Chastain. Field Motors into 3. Bell about a half a groove lower. Chastain runs on the high side. Chastain still keeps the lead, though.
Chastain holds on to that top spot by 1 car length over Christopher Bell. They flash across the line about 3/4 of a second ahead of 3rd place running Kyle Larson, but here comes Bell. He'll steer it to the inside. He wants the lead back. Let's see if he can get it.
Let's see. Again, a good drive, but not good enough of a drive. Oh, he does see a good drive on the back straightaway. Keeps it going. Good straightaway speed by the 20. A good enough run. Bell should be able to clear Chastain, but Chastain has that run on the high side.
Back up out of turn number 4. Chastain does use that progressive banking off the top of turn 4 to stay clear of Bell. And while this battling goes on, Larson closes right in on both of these lead drivers. Side by side in turn 1, Martin Truex Jr. and Michael McDowell. That's a fight for 10th.
And so Truex is going to take that 10th spot from McDowell, wearing the Truex with the auto owners colors this weekend here at Kansas. He moves past McDowell and into 8th. Meanwhile, Buescher getting by Cindric. That's for 7.
Woo! Slide job by Buescher on the exit of turn 4. Cuts right across the nose of Cindric's Ford. A couple of those dark horse Mustangs battling there. Meanwhile, for 2nd, Kyle Larson's on the move in turn 2.
Boy, is he. He just passes Dirt Buddy Bell and moves to 2nd. And he now has his sights set on race leader Ross Chastain. Within 2 car lengths, within 1 car length, Larson really hauling it in the early stages.
Out of turn number 4, Larson, he is gunning for the lead. Further back, Brad Keselowski trying to make his way up from the front along with William Byron. Keselowski cuts it down to the apron to get around Carson Hocevar. Meanwhile, off turn 2, Larson closes right in on Chastain. That is not going to be much of a fight for much longer, I don't believe.
No, not exactly. Chastain on the high side, Larson down to the inside. Chastain, though, does hold him at bay for the time being.
Back to the main straightaway, through the dogleg and across the line to complete lap 11 of 80 in this first stage. Larson in the slipstream of Chastain. Dives it down to the middle of the racetrack in 1 and 2. Chastain stays topside to hold on to the top position.
Still has the lead for now by about a car length over Kyle Larson as they continue to fight down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. It's Chastain with the race lead. Larson to the bottom. Ross Chastain still your leader.
Chastain's done well here to change his line here as Larson's closed in. Chastain running exclusively at the top of the racetrack at both ends of the speedway. He'll do it in turn 1, but Larson cuts it way down all the way to the white line on the bottom of the track to try to make this pass.
Yeah, he tried, but Chastain had enough of a driving momentum off of turn number 2 to where he is going to keep the lead. But here comes Larson fighting back, but Chastain still has the lead as they exit 4.
Further back, I'll tell you about a guy who's also on the move. That's Kyle Larson's teammate, William Byron. He's up to 24th. He's already picked off 12 spots in 13 laps. Byron has a good car early.
We want to watch in the later stages today. At the front, though, Ross Chastain's lead is still a car length over Kyle Larson. Meanwhile, Chris Buescher and Kyle Busch, 6th place, the battle there. Buescher dives it way down to the inside of that Castrol 17, and we'll see if he slides up in front of Busch. He's got it.
And they're both closing in on Noah Gragson, who had that great qualifying run to start 3rd. He's still running strong in 5th, but Buescher and Busch are catching him both. Fight for the lead, carries on out of turn 2. Carry on, my wayward one. Number 1 with the lead.
Oh, well done. Chastain with the lead. Here comes Larson now. They're both going to go up against the wall. Larson to the inside. Still can't make the move. Chastain leads.
Chastain with just enough horsepower off the top of these bankings to hold on to the lead down the straightaway. Tell you what, Larson's got some hosses underneath that car, though. He pulls right up on him at the end of the straightaway and dives back to his inside in 2. Still can't make the pass.
Yeah, I can see the complaining about air blocking from here. Chastain has the lead by about 2 car lengths over Larson. Larson will try and drive it in again, but he stalls, and Chastain will keep his lead.
Chastain keeps it wide off the turn, holds on to the lead, and he'll come across the line with that lead now at 2 car lengths. They're slowly inching away from Christopher Bell in 3rd. It's 0.8 of a second what Bell's behind.
It is what Bell is by 8 tenths of a second, and Gibbs, Gragson, Buescher, Busch, Cindric, Hamlin, Truex, the current top 10 as they motor their way into turn 3 due the leaders. Ross Chastain still showing the way.
So Chastain's got a really good car, of course. He's shown that all weekend long. Here he is across the line, put 17 laps up on the board. Back to turn 1. His lead stays at a car length and a half on Larson, who runs the middle of the track one more time, but he can't make up any ground.
He can't. So he's lost. He's gotten a bit sideways off of 4 a couple of times early in this run, I've noticed. And he got a little bit loose off of 2 that time. Ross Chastain still with the lead here at the Kansas Speedway. He leads by about 2 car lengths over Kyle Larson. There he goes again, Whitland.
So let's run through the field here for a bit. At the end of 18 laps, Ross Chastain leads. Kyle Larson is 2nd. Christopher Bell is 3rd. Ty Gibbs is 4th. Noah Gragson is 5th. Seth with the rest of the top 10.
Chris Buescher is 6th. 7th is Kyle Busch. 8th is Austin Cindric. 9th is Denny Hamlin. And 10th is Martin Truex Jr.
He's followed by the 11th place running Michael McDowell. 12th is Alex Bowman. 13th is Tyler Reddick. Chase Elliott is 14th. John Hunter Nemechek solidly runs in 15th. 16th is Joey Logano. 17th is Darrell Wallace Jr. 18th, Ryan Blaney. 19th to Austin Dillon. And all the way up to 20th now, from starting 36th, is William Byron. Seth?
Brad Keselowski is 21st. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 22nd. Carson Hocevar 23rd. 24th is Chase Briscoe, and 25th is Corey Heim.
Zane Smith, 26th. Corey LaJoie, 27th. Justin Haley, 28th. 29th is Todd Gilliland. 30th is Daniel Suarez. Then Josh Berry, 31st. Derek Kraus, 32nd. Jimmy Johnson, 33rd. Austin Hill, 34th. Harrison Burton is 35th. Daniel Hemrick, 36th. Riley Herbst, 37th. 38th and last is Ryan Preece. All of the cars that started are still on the lead lap. Let's pick up a battle for 7th off turn 2.
Denny Hamlin just got around Kyle Busch, but Busch going to fight back on his former teammate on the outside of the back straightaway. Hamlin, though, has a good run on the inside through 3 and 4. The former teammates really close to each other, battling for P7.
Four-time Kansas winner Denny Hamlin, including this race last year, as we mentioned multiple times in the Open, stays door handle to door handle with Busch. Hamlin cuts it way to the bottom of turns 1 and 2. He gets an edge on Busch. Let's see if Busch can charge back on the outside.
Let's try to get some momentum. He gets right to the bumper, but he can't go anywhere with it. So Hamlin maintains 7th. He'll drift up about a lane. Allow Busch to get close underneath. Still not there, though. Hamlin's still 7th.
So Hamlin has made the pass for 7th on Kyle Busch. He'll put the target on the back door of Noah Gragson now. Meanwhile, at the front, Kyle Larson has cooled his jets a little bit, trying to grab the lead. And by doing so, Seth, he's fallen into the clutches of Christopher Bell.
Yeah, Bell back to within a car length of Larson on the back straightaway as they go in turn 3. Larson drifting high. Bell about a groove lower. Bell will try to make an attack. Can't quite do it now, though.
Larson holds on to that second position, but he's backed away by about 0.8 of a second now on race leader Ross Chastain, working lap 24 of 80 in this first stage. So Bell coming back towards that lead duo that battled for a number of laps. Ross Chastain able to hold on to the lead since the start of the race. Meanwhile, Seth, Hamlin on the move again.
Yeah, he's trying to get 6 from Noah Gragson, and Gragson trying to fight back, but Hamlin does have preferred line on the inside, and he should be able to clear Gragson off 4.
Gragson holds it in on the outside, and they'll come across the line just about dead even. Gragson used that momentum off the top to stay ahead of Hamlin, but Hamlin's been working well on the bottom. That's where he goes in turns 1 and 2.
Gragson and Hamlin still side by side on the exit of turn number 2. They go down the back straightaway. Hamlin now drives it inside. Gragson fights back outside. Dead even for that 6th position through 3 and 4. Now Hamlin slightly nudges ahead.
Oh, boy, and he slides up across the nose of Gragson, who just about shoves him down the main straightaway. Meanwhile, a couple of cars in back of that battle. It's a 3-way fight in turn 1. Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, they're all scrapping together from just outside the top 10.
Yes, indeed. It is Elliott in that blue and white color for the number 9 this week. The purple 48 of Bowman feeling heat from the Monster Energy 45 of Reddick. Reddick to the inside of Bowman. That is for P12. Elliott has the best seat in the house watching.
Bowman holds on to that spot. That's 12th, 13th, and 14th right there. And 15th as John Hunter Nemechek begins to close in on that trio. Bowman takes it to the top of turn 1. Reddick in the middle. Elliott to the bottom. They're all running distinct lanes.
Bowman, Reddick, Elliott, nose to tail down the back straightaway. That is 12th, 13th, and 14th for those of you on the racetrack. Bowman right up against the wall. Boy, he almost kissed it there. I don't know how he didn't touch it. He was very close.
Oh, and speaking of close, Ryan Blaney just about cranked it into the wall off turn 4 as he tries to run down John Hunter Nemechek in the fight for 15th. Blaney goes back to the top of turn 1. Nemechek will keep it glued and screwed to the bottom.
Right behind those two is Joey Logano, but at the front it is all Ross Chastain. He's got that Busch Light Chevrolet in the wind.
So we've got both Joshes. From what I understand, both Joshes are listening here. they are still in the commentary box from the Miami Grand Prix, and they're watching and listening in. They're at least watching. They might be listening in. We have nothing but good things to say about the Joshes anyway, so we're not going to say anything bad about them, especially on their network.
That would be kind of stupid.
That would. That would be really dumb. Wow, Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman, you couldn't be any closer than those two were as they came through the tri-oval. Reddick dives down to the Bowman inside in turns 1 and 2, but Bowman holds on to the spot.
Bowman does hold on to the spot. He will be clear of Reddick down the back straightaway. So for the moment, Bowman has a spot. Reddick now going to drive back down to the inside. Bowman and Reddick back there at 12th place. Bowman with the advantage of a turn 4.
He'll hold on to that position. Let's pick up Ryan Blaney, who has started to hit it into high gear, Seth.
He has. He tries to go to the inside of Chase Elliott. Meanwhile, those top 3 have spread out a little bit.
Yep, top 3 still remain the same. Chastain now by 1 second on Larson, then another half second back to 3rd place Christopher Bell. Then it's a second and a half from Bell to 4th place Ty Gibbs. Chris Buescher is in 5th. I say that just a moment ago, just to say hi to everyone listening both on USRN2, JBM. Also, goodness, we've got both the Joshes, we've got Jess, we've got Omi listening in the commentary box. They're just all throwing a post-Miami Grand Prix party, probably kicked up with some cocktails and listening to NASCAR. I don't know what would be wrong with that.
Mr. 305, I'm sure, somewhere lurking.
Yeah, you know it. Glad to have everyone with us, though. It's going to be
one of your more clever calls when Miami clinched that Final Four spot last year, and the 305 is going to the 81, so wherever Houston's area code is. Very well, cleverly done out of you as Elliott and Reddick battle, and Elliott's going to make the pass on. Martin Truex Jr. is coming to pit road.
This is maybe a little bit early, but he's not the only one on pit road. Alex Bowman is, Tyler Reddick is, Ryan Blaney, all on pit road. Darrell Wallace Jr. is as well, of course, with a green racetrack. Maybe not so surprising to see these guys on pit road a little bit early.
Mistakes.
Add Bubba Wallace to that group that's on pit road.
Comes your leaders.
Yep.
They don't use
Look how much time he saved by being able to use that one car as a reference.
Chastain and Larson coming in. Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable that Fox will not use their pit reporters. Unbelievable. They are there for a reason. All kinds of cars on pit road here. Larson and Chastain, as I mentioned, coming in. Logano is in. See if they report on the leaders.
Well, we talked about Kyle Larson and what he needs just a little bit before he was driving it off the right rail. A little bit too much. The one as well. Air pressure adjustment, 4 tires for both.
Chastain and Larson are exiting pit road side by side. That'll be the fight for the lead here once they get back onto the racetrack. Christopher Bell has stayed out, so he's assumed the lead of the race here. And we'll be coming down pit road very shortly. But Chastain, it looks like Seth has gotten by Larson, stayed ahead of him on the exit of pit road.
He has some good work by Ross Chastain. He stays ahead of Kyle Larson. Good lap here. Now here comes Christopher Bell to pit road.
So Bell to pit road. Austin Hill, Daniel Hemrick, Derek Kraus, Carson Hocevar, Harrison Burton, Austin Dillon, and Zane Smith have yet to stop. Now Larson on the fresh tires going after Chastain for what will be the lead. They're in turn 2. Bell exits pit road. Let's pick up that battle between Ross and Kyle.
Larson on the inside. Good drive and packs into turn 3, and he should be clear to the race lead. Kyle Larson to the lead. Chastain, they're not going to give it up that easily.
Larson does slide across the nose of Chastain to take that spot away. Bell did exit pit road. We'll see where he merges into all of that, but Larson is past Chastain as they race up out of turn number 2. Chastain's not done with this fight.
Yeah, indeed. He is not done with this fight, indeed. Here is Chastain, way down to the inside. Oh, my goodness, what a drive inside by Chastain as they exit forward.
Wow, and he slides right up in front of Larson, who dekes down to the inside to try to make the pass back on him, but can't. And they go back to turn 1. Riley Herbst just in front of these two leaders. Chastain takes it to the top of turn 2.
He does driving in to the top, and it's Chastain to the lead. So Ross Chastain, the leader here, they'll get by the lap machine, the slow machine of Tyler Reddick. He must have had either a slow pit stop or that's Riley Herbst. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry.
Chastain clears Herbst. Now Kyle Larson should
great.
do the
Two
same.
monster cars.
Now that's right. You got Monster Energy and Monster Energy Zero Sugar. Oh boy! And Larson nearly runs over Herbst on the approach to turn 1. Herbst was trying to get out of the way and just couldn't.
He could not. So Chastain is the leader now by a car length. They go to turn 3, so Ross Chastain showing the way here at Kansas.
And again,
well,
they will.
Effectively, Derek Kraus hasn't pitted.
That's exactly right. Once Derek Kraus comes to pit road, these two will be fighting for the lead. Now, in the cycle of stops, Ty Gibbs and Chris Buescher both got around Christopher Bell as Larson gets close to Chastain on the exit of turn 2.
Boy, did he ever. Did he ever. As they move on. I'm sorry, I lost track of thought. Now Larson all the way down to the inside. And, oh, my goodness, that was close.
Wow, he cut right across the nose of Chastain. Then Chastain with a crossover at the main straightaway, down to the apron. This is a fist fight for the lead halfway through stage 1, and it's still not done. They're side by side.
And right up against the wall, Chastain, though, slides in front, keeps the race lead over Kyle Larson as they go down the back straightaway. Now Larson packs it into turn 3, but Chastain with a really good drive on the high side. Chastain, the leader.
So Chastain motors away from Larson on the exit of turn 4. What a tremendous fight this is. And while they're doing it, they're just about to catch and pass Derek Kraus before Kraus even comes to pit road. What a run Chastain and Larson have put on these last few laps.
Excellent show put on by both Ross Chastain and Kyle Larson early on at the Kansas Speedway.
Meanwhile, if what I'm getting from Josh is correct, Josh T that is, and it always is when it comes from Josh, Fox has missed. Denny Hamlin has had a speeding penalty and has to do a pass-through. He was running 8th.
Well, that's such common knowledge. I mean, it's not really a breaking story now, is it?
No, it's not. So Hamlin...
They both get by Kraus, though, by the way. The leaders both get by Kraus.
So Hamlin, another pit road penalty is what we are being told. So we'll wait. He still hasn't made that pass-through yet, has Hamlin, as Chastain and Larson now well and truly are the leaders now that they've gotten around Derek Kraus. As we are halfway through this opening stage of the Advent Health 400 at Kansas. Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott were battling for position before pit stop started. They still are, as Larson closes right back in on Chastain again. Meanwhile, that Elliott and Blaney battle is from just outside the top 10. In fact, it's at 14th. As meanwhile, Christopher Bell, there's battles everywhere.
Derek Kraus needs to get to pit road.
Yeah, Derek Kraus, I'm not fully sure why they're staying out that long. Bell and Busch are battling for 4th. And meanwhile, the fight for the lead continues in turn 2.
Chastain outside Larson, though, with a great drive off at 2 on the inside. A little sidetrack, too, along the way. Kyle Larson to P1. Chastain, though, will try and fight back outside, and he does climb outside. What a show.
Yeah, this is tremendous between two of the hardest racers in the sport. They're both below the white line on the apron of the main straightaway. Larson sharpens the elbows out, muscles Chastain up the banking of 1, but that helps Chastain re-grab the lead.
Clear down the back straightaway. Ross Chastain once again clear to the lead. Still 35 and a half laps to go in this first stage. Larson inside again. Chastain, though, keeps the lead off 4.
So Chastain holds on to the top spot. They come across the line, just a car length the difference. This is fabulous racing, which we have become accustomed to getting at Kansas. Here comes Larson. He's going to get the whip out on that number 5 horse one more time out of turn 2.
Well, they're not quite into the stretch, but Chastain still has the lead over Larson as they go into turn number 3. Still several furlongs to go. Chastain with the lead now, Larson in second.
Well, and these guys are 2 seconds clear of Ty Gibbs back in third. Meanwhile, Hamlin has still not come to pit road to serve that penalty. Might need to get that looked at because he just passed Christopher Bell on the exit of turn 4 for 5th. So Hamlin's still on the track and running 5th. Blaney, meanwhile, closes right in up on Elliott. Again, that's for 14th position there in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, sorry, real quick. Yeah, it's as they clear off of 2, Hamlin out there. Keep going. I'm going to try to find some more update on that Hamlin situation.
Meanwhile, Chastain and Larson across the line with traffic just in front of them that they're going to have to maneuver around. Ty Gibbs in third, also getting around some lap traffic, trying to get around the Ryan Preece machine. But Larson and Chastain have given us a terrific first stage. Neither one of them are willing to give an inch. It might just be stage 1, but they are fighting as if it's the end of the race. Here they come up out of turn number 4 again. Larson has gotten to Chastain's inside. They come across the line. Chastain leads that lap by a nose. Larson again crowds him up into turn 1. Now Larson cuts it way to the bottom. He stuffs it hard into the corner to take the lead. Chastain now cuts back underneath him.
Oh, what an absolutely great run by Chastain down the back straightaway. Chastain with the lead, going to turn number 3. Will he clear Larson? He will for now. Ross Chastain back to the top spot.
So Chastain reclaims the lead. What an incredible battle that still is not going away. Larson in the slipstream of Chastain. He'll duck to the inside, braking hard out of the pocket. Into the middle of the racetrack, Larson gets to the inside of Ross Chastain off 2.
Side by side for the lead down the back straightaway. Larson on the inside. Chastain on the outside. Larson with the lead. Chastain, though, has that preferred high line for momentum. Dead even off 4.
How close do you like it? Up out of 4. Larson washed up, just barely stayed off Chastain. Now Larson gets back to his left elbow, side drafts him down the straightaway. Why is Fox going away from this battle? Larson in 1. He slides to the lead. Chastain charges back.
Chastain charges back, and he's got the lead. Larson coming back, though, on the high side through turn 3. What in the world? Larson. Boy, Chastain almost shut Larson up the track. Side by side again.
This is punch, counter punch, over and over at the line, side by side. Larson leads by a nose. Chastain comes back hard on the bottom. Ty Gibbs is catching the both of them. We still have 29 to go in the stage.
Don't tell me Gibbs is going to make this a 3-horse race. Oh, my goodness. Larson clear to the lead again off 2 down the back straightaway. I'm trying to save my announcer stuff for my excitement for the last stage, but holy cow, this is unbelievable stuff. It is Larson, it is Chastain, and Gibbs is right there.
And God bless Fox for trying to show us every battle going on, but just keep the cameras glued to the leaders at this point. Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman are side by side fighting for 12th, but at this point, who cares? The fight for the lead is as good as we've gotten in years in a cup race this early.
Agree. I'm not sure what they're doing, and Larson now going to clear Chastain to an almost insurmountable 2-car length lead.
Yeah. Oh, and then Fox goes to break. Holy cow.
I tell you.
Well,
that's Patrick Mahomes there, isn't it?
Don't think so.
It looks like it right there. Chief hoodie and has the hairdo and everything.
Meanwhile, Gibbs to the inside of Chastain for 2nd.
So Ty Gibbs now will try and pack it into the inside. 2nd place up for grabs. Chastain high, Gibbs low. Chastain has the spot.
So Chastain has backpedaled a little bit away from Larson. Wonder if he's worn the tires off the thing. If he has, he's got a long way to go to make it to the end of the stage. And Gibbs works to his inside in turns 1 and 2. But Ross keeps the pedal to the metal off the top of 2.
Chastain on the high side, Gibbs on the bottom. 2nd place is what they're vying for, and apparently there must have been a miscommunication because there's no penalty for Denny Hamlin. He's right in the mix here. He's going to try to get third for his teammate.
Yeah, Hamlin is rolling up to these two running second and third. Chastain holds on to the spot. Gibbs stays third. Hamlin closes right in on his teammate Ty Gibbs. Hamlin will cut it to the bottom of turn one. He'll get alongside Gibbs, but Gibbs keeps it wound up topside to hold on to the third position.
Gibbs stays in third ahead of Hamlin. Now he'll try to regain lost ground on Chastain. Heading into turn number 3, Gibbs will drive it down to the inside. Chastain almost up against the wall. Chastain will keep the lead out of turn 4.
All of this has allowed Larson to move away by a second and a third from what is now a 3-car battle for the second position. They angle back into turn 1, and all 3 of them run the top of the racetrack, and Hamlin had the air taken off his nose. He had to bail out of the throttle, and he backpedals.
So, yep, indeed he does backpedal. So it's Chastain ahead of Gibbs going into turn number 3. Second place, Gibbs. Good run in the center of the corner to get within a car length or so.
Well, this is a tremendous fight. It is allowing Larson to get away. It's also allowing Chris Buescher to close in on these 3. Buescher running in 5th. Strong run for the 17, the top running Ford at the moment.
Yeah, he and that whole Ford camp really could use a good run, and Buescher is indeed providing it. But still Kyle Larson leading. Meanwhile, Gibbs right to the bumper of Chastain once again as they battle for second place.
Oh, Hamlin, wow, riding a rocket out of turn 4. Gets right underneath the spoiler of Gibbs. Tries to pull to his inside. He will do so in turn 1 as Hamlin rockets it to the bottom. Gibbs keeps it wound up topside. Hamlin going to try to pull the slide job.
And he will. So Hamlin now to P3, and 2 of Denny's best friends right in front of him, Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain.
Now, Fox, this is what we need. Now, we like this, Fox. It's a 4-way battle cam as Hamlin closes right in on his good buddy Chastain as they go back to turn 1. That is now the fight for second, and Denny Hamlin is on the move. He's on the prowl.
He sure is. Here he goes. Inside of Chastain. Really made contact there as they battle for second. Hamlin inside. Chastain to the outside. Hamlin drives it in. Chastain fights back, and they're gaining on Larson.
Yeah, something has happened to Larson here the last couple of laps. His lead was over a second. Now it's only half a second as Hamlin rips the second position away from Chastain. Now he and Larson will go at it. We talked about it in our open. We've led to this moment, Seth, a Larson-Hamlin battle royale again.
19 and a half laps to go on the stage, so I wasn't expected to get too physical. But then again, I didn't expect it to get physical on the early stages with Larson and Chastain either. So this is great stuff.
As good as it gets in 2024 in the NASCAR Cup Series. Across the line, the leaders flow, and you've got 5 of them within a second and a half of each other. Larson, Hamlin, Chastain, Gibbs, Buescher.
This is amazing stuff. Here is Hamlin trying to get right to Larson as they go to turn number 3. Larson with the lead. Now Hamlin's going to drift up a lane. See if that'll work, give him some momentum in air.
Oh, and it did work. He closes right in. Larson, he's going to drive to the bottom to try to take the air off Hamlin's nose. Hamlin then jukes back to the outside. Larson does the same. Larson going to try to give Hamlin a taste of his own medicine from a week ago at Dover.
Larson maintains the 1-car length lead over Denny Hamlin. Chastain, about a car length back himself, dives into turn number 3. Here goes Hamlin to the inside of Larson.
Boy, got a good drive off the bottom of turn 4. He pulls ahead. Larson comes down to try to pull him back with the slide job. They were just about rubbing door handles. They were so close down the main straightaway. Larson holds on to the lead only just.
Larson with the lead on the back straightaway. Hamlin about a car length back. Here is Hamlin. He'll dive inside of Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin packs it in. He wants the lead.
Come on, complain about this racing. I dare ya. Hamlin and Larson nose to nose across the line. Hamlin leads it by 19 one-thousandths of a second. Now Chastain comes right up behind the both of them. In turn one, Larson around the top. He's going to reclaim the top spot.
So say 3 cars nose to tail under a blanket. Larson, Hamlin, Chastain. Up against the wall goes the 5 and the 11 with Chastain a groove lower. Gibbs might be in this battle soon, as will Buescher.
Yeah, Gibbs 4 car lengths back of this. Then it's Buescher. Larson cut the dog leg. Hamlin did too. Chastain stayed on normal route. They go back to 1. Larson fades high. Hamlin digs down low.
He does try and dig down low. It is Hamlin, though, trying to get the lead from Larson. Hamlin now dives way to the inside of Kyle Larson. Chastain just has all the virtual popcorn. They nearly touch.
Yeah, Hamlin was starting to fade up, got the elbows out. Larson said no thank you. They're side by side down the straightaway. Chastain gets tucked up right underneath the spoiler of Larson, and those 2 Chevrolets hook up and go back to turn 2.
And Chastain is right there. And now here is Larson to the outside of Denny Hamlin. Larson now to the lead. Hamlin to second. Chastain is right there. Hamlin on the inside. He'll come up on Larson. No.
Could you ever think we could actually have 400 miles straight of this? They've done it for just about this whole stage. Hamlin puts a nose ahead of Larson in turn 1. Now Larson charges back topside. Chastain just watching these 2 battle.
Oh, Larson wiggled a little bit out of turn 2. That's going to give Hamlin the advantage. Hamlin with the lead. Now he side pushes Larson to the side in turn number 3. Larson now will have the lead through 3 and 4. He fights back like the master that he is. Hamlin, though, fights back inside.
Oh, the joust continues, but Hamlin got a great drive off the bottom of turn 4. Larson got the littlest bit loose. Hamlin clears Larson for the lead. Now Chastain goes to the top of turn 2 to try to take second.
Indeed, and now look, it's bringing Buescher, Gibbs, and Bell to this. My gosh. Hamlin now drives away, though, from Chastain. Larson in third, and Denny Hamlin now says, see ya, I got a stage to win.
Yep, Hamlin up out of turn number 4, starting to stretch his lead away now. It's half a second as he crosses the line with 11 to go in stage number 1, working lap number 70. Hamlin, Chastain, Larson, Buescher, Gibbs, the top 5. Christopher Bell's not too far back in 6th.
Here goes Bell to the inside of Gibbs. The Joe Gibbs Racing teammates will battle for that number 5 position. Bell drives it inside, and he is going to clear Gibbs. So give 5th to Christopher Bell.
So Bell moves back up into the top 5, the pole sitter, as Hamlin crosses the line. 10 laps to go in the stage. See if he's home free to the green and white checkered flag, or if there's another counter coming from either of Ross Chastain or Kyle Larson.
When your leader off turn 2, down the back straightaway, comfortable lead for Denny Hamlin. Meanwhile, here comes Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman a little further back.
Yeah, Bowman and Blaney fighting for 15th. Meanwhile, Larson's been run down here by Chris Buescher. Surely all that racing has had to drive the right front tire off some of these cars, and now they're probably limping it to the end of the stage. Larson holds on to 3rd, but Chris Buescher wants it.
Yeah, Buescher does want the spot from Larson, trying to grab that podium place, if you will, at the end of stage 1. Larson in 3rd, Buescher about a car length back. Larson against the wall. Buescher drifts a little bit low.
Well, if you're enjoying this racing here on USRN2 and JB Motorsports, hope you have enjoyed the heck out of it. It's been an amazing stage. Be sure to leave comments in the chat section on both Mixlr and YouTube. Christian Malley has, and he gave us the terrible news that the Rangers did win. But glad you're here, Christian. I never want to drive Christian away, but he was the bearer of bad news today, unfortunately.
Hey, don't shoot the messenger, pal.
That's
don't
right.
shoot the messenger.
That's exactly right. Hamlin the leader as he heads back to turn 1, and Ross Chastain staying within a half-second stretched arm of him. 7 laps to go in Stage 1 in Kansas.
Hamlin with the race lead by a half-second over Ross Chastain. He might be finally on his way to a victory, a stage victory at least, although Chastain has a good run on him now, so hold that thought.
Ross isn't giving up on it, that's for sure, and we know Ross, he doesn't give up on most things. Here he is as he begins to creep forward towards Hamlin. Both of these two have separated themselves by 2 seconds on the fight for third.
Hamlin maintains the lead. 16th straight race that Denny Hamlin has led at least 1 lap. That is the longest streak of his illustrious career. Can we call his career illustrious? I know he hasn't won a championship, but
yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. No
Yeah.
doubt about that. Bell and Buescher for 4th across the line. Bell to the inside. Buescher fades top side of turn 1. Bell gets the advantage into the corner, but Buescher is able to come back using the banking. Oh, but Bell slides right up in front of him.
He does slide right up in front of him, so moves Seabell up to 4th. Buescher back to 5th. And at the front, Denny Hamlin continuing to show the way, but Christopher Bell, good move on Chris Buescher.
And Buescher loose in the middle of 3 and 4. Believe he's starting to lose the handling of his car. Meanwhile, a moment ago off turn 2, we had some contact with the wall. That's Tyler Reddick. That's both of the monster cars coming straight at you, Seth.
Oh yeah, oh joy. A little kiss off the wall.
Yeah, Reddick has not been towards the front.
You could
as
say
we
she rock
expected.
chalked it.
Yes, you may say that. And you also may say that Ross Chastain is closed right in on Denny Hamlin. They cross the line, 3 to go in the stage. Here's Ross. He fakes right, dives left. Oh, Ross Chastain is a menace right now.
Hamlin fighting back on the outside, though, and Hamlin clears the lead. We do another Kansas basketball pun, if you will. If you don't like this race, go into your own octagon of doom.
Yeah,
Chastain piles in. Hamlin still leads.
If you don't like this, I don't know what you're looking for. 2 to go in the stage. Hamlin leads Chastain by just 2 car lengths. Let's see if Ross has one more recoil left to try to get this stage win away from Denny Hamlin.
Hamlin has the lead. Chastain about a car length back. He'll try to reel him in on the back straightaway. Denny Hamlin with the race lead by about a car length and a half. And they both now go right up against the wall. So good work in 3 and 4. Meanwhile, battle for the last stage point. Chase Elliott has it. Michael McDowell wants it.
Yeah, they're just about nose to tail through 3 and 4. Meanwhile, the leaders just crossed the line. We're on the last lap of the stage. Chastain's only got one more shot to steal this stage win away from Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, Chastain's going to get there. He closes to within a car length on the back straightaway. But Denny Hamlin maintains the lead. Chastain now going to drive that sucker into turn 3. Chastain now washed up a little bit, pushed a little too much. Hamlin should be clear to go.
Green and white checkered flag in the air. Denny Hamlin, the winner at Dover, now takes stage 1 at Kansas. His 3rd stage win of the year, the 48th stage win of his career. That puts him now 3rd on the all-time stage wins list, breaking a tie that he held with Kyle Busch on 47. Denny Hamlin wins stage 1. Ross Chastain is 2nd. Kyle Larson just held off Christopher Bell for 3rd. Chris Buescher was 5th. Then came Ty Gibbs, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Noah Gragson, and Chase Elliott. They get the points-paying positions in stage 1 of the Advent Health 400 at Kansas. And Seth, we've been around. We've been doing these races ever since the beginning of stage racing. Might have been the best stage I've ever seen.
No, it's certainly up there.
Certainly the best first stage that I've seen.
It's been absolutely amazing.
I mean, that...
Amazing what happened today.
That racing, you don't get better than that. And it wasn't just 2 of them fighting. That was 5 or 6 of them in a fight at the front. The entire stage. Goodness gracious. Meanwhile, here you go, Seth. I've been getting some messages in. So Josh Birch says cycling and beach volleyball for him in the Olympics.
I think you can get one. I don't think you're getting the second.
So JV wants to go beach volleyball and cycling. Okay. Listen, I love doing beach volleyball. I am more than happy to share. More than happy to share because, we're going to be doing so many sports, and I can't wait for beach volleyball, especially this year. I love beach volleyball. It's a terrific sport. I know everybody's going to make the joke, you like seeing all those pretty people show off their skin. Okay, that's the funny joke, haha. Beach volleyball is a spectacular sport, and this year at the Olympics, they're going to have the beach volleyball court right underneath the Eiffel Tower. The background of the stadium is going to be the freaking Eiffel Tower. It's going to be amazing. And the atmosphere for beach volleyball is always so great because it's not like a tennis where you stay silent during the point. I mean, they are partying. There's music. There's a DJ. They have a time on beach volleyball. I absolutely love beach volleyball and more than happy to share with Josh on the beach this year. Of course, you know this, Seth. I've gone on and on about beach volleyball since the first time I tried it, which was actually a rabble.
16,
yeah, and to the point of one of the event that I did ages ago now. It feels like here on USRN. It was pre-COVID. Was in Hamburg, Germany, the beach volleyball world championships.
We did that in 2019 before a scheduled NASCAR race at Daytona, which, shocker, got pushed back to Sunday. The one that Justin Haley won.
So, I mean, I love beach volleyball. Let's get a report. No, hold on. No, we're not. Sorry. Backpedal.
I'll be back in just a second.
Stay where we are. So, and, cycling would be a sport that a Brit does have to be on. I know Matt loves cycling, but I couldn't see Seth or me doing cycling. We wouldn't know what in the world's going on. We wouldn't be able to call that well at all. But, I can't wait. Cannot wait. Again, as Seth loves to point out, and it's absolutely true, we are excited for these Olympics for many reasons, and one of them, unapologetically so, is the fact that it is in Europe and not in Asia. We've had so many Asian Olympics here lately with just the worst times of events. And it's very happy that the time windows and the time range will be much better for us stateside with it being in Paris. Of course, we get a European Winter Olympics next in 2026 in, I believe, Milan. I could be wrong on that. It could be in another Italian city. It is in Italy, though. And then, of course, in 2028, the Summer Olympics, the Europeans will be complaining about the time because they'll be in Los Angeles, California in 2028. First time the Olympics would be in America, correct me if I'm wrong, someone, since 2002 in Salt Lake City. I don't think I'm missing one that was in America between that time period. So, we're excited for the Olympics, no doubt. And with absolutely zero disrespect to our Asian friends and listeners, it's been a long, hard haul for these last couple of Asian Olympics. Oh my goodness, it's been difficult. Leaders come to pit road now under this caution.
More detail on his loose condition. It was in particular from the late exit and exit of turn 4. Progressively got looser as he would go through the corner. In the 17 car, Chris Buescher in 5th place right now. Lost rear grip in and off of the corners as they ran. Tight and dirtier though, Jamie.
Kyle Larson said, I don't know how much damage I did at the handling, just battling that hard. They said, hey, we've been conservative on air pressure. Let's jack it up a little bit. Air pressure adjustment 4 tires. The one of Ross Chastain kind of on both sides of it, but overall needs grip and needed those fresh tires.
There it is.
Race off pit road is going to be won by, I think, Christopher Bell, he was the pole sitter, so he got that number 1 pit stall at the end of pit road, and by having that, Bell gains 3 positions, winning the race off pit road from Chastain, Larson, Gibbs, and Buescher. A slow stop for the 11 team of Denny Hamlin. He comes off pit road 8th, losing 7 positions.
I'm about to send you a text, Matthew. You should just have your phone on standby.
Oh, always. Always on the...
I know. I know the Joshes wanted to hear that so bad, but, we don't have breaks or satellite feed with them, so I got to tell you somehow.
So we'll re-rack everything and get it going for Stage 2. And again, if Stage 2 is as good as Stage 1, then heaven help us. Okay, very good. So, Josh, when we say crack research team, I think that's going to now mean Josh. Josh says...
Josh T or Josh B?
Josh T, because he has just confirmed that Milan is hosting the 26 Winter Games, and he does confirm that I was correct in saying that 2002 was the last time that the U.S. hosted the Olympics in Salt Lake City. Last time in L.A. was in the summer of '84.
That's correct.
So, very good. Thank you to confirm that. So, yeah, we say whenever we say crack research team, we're normally kidding. We're normally saying that tongue-in-cheek. Josh has everything in the blink of an eye ready. Now, here's the question of the day to Josh Birch.
Penalty.
Uh-oh. Who?
Nemechek too fast.
Oh, John Hunter Nemechek. Too fast on pit. That's a shame. He was top 15 that entire first stage. Here's the question that I pose now to Josh Birch. Did he incorporate Trump into his final call at Miami?
Oh, Jesus God.
Oh, Crofty.
Well, Josh just put on Instagram his call and his first 2 words, caution loud.
Well, I'm sure it was very exciting calling Lando Norris to his first win. Again, we were off the air by then over on USRN. It was, I very well remember that ill-fated day in Russia in 21 when Lando should have won that race. And the team just totally threw it away for him. And Hamilton went on to win in the wet. It's been a long, hard road from that day to today for Lando Norris and McLaren. Could not be more thrilled for Lando. And Zach Brown, who was a key part of this week's episode of 100 Days to Indy, the IndyCar docu-series on the CW, he was celebrating as hard as you could imagine. Boy, you should have watched that episode of 100 Days to Indy, Seth. Zach Brown, they had cameras in front of Zach Brown. They were asking him about Alex Palou and that contract mess. He was throwing some shade at Alex Palou.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't, Palou was very professional about it, like you would imagine. No comment, can't comment, all of that. Oh, man. Zach Brown was throwing punches. Man. He is not a fan of Alex Palou anymore.
My goodness.
That's overwhelming.
Very.
We already gave you on this day in racing history in our hot lap earlier when we didn't know if we were going to get a race in or not. So, in place of that, what we normally do at the end of Stage 1, we'll just tell you that the upcoming schedule on USRN looks like this. In just 10 minutes, Game 7 between the Stars and the Golden Knights on USRN at 7:30. Jarek Rubel has the call there. Winner moves on to the second round to play Colorado. Let's see here. And, of course, we'll have more Stanley Cup playoff action during the week. The entire second round schedule's not out yet because they're still waiting for the result of that Dallas-Vegas game. Wednesday night, MLB Wednesday night on USRN2 this week. Guess where it's at this week, Seth? Cincinnati.
G-A-B-P.
That's right.
Hey, allow now. The Joshes won't know what the context is, but you will. But you'll know it. It's the Diamondbacks and the Reds. I got Cincinnati, Ellie, baby.
Wednesday night, Arizona, Cincinnati. Can't wait for that. Then coming up this weekend, oh baby, we're going to Indy. We are back to Indianapolis. This week, Seth, I get to do games in Cincinnati, Raleigh, and Indianapolis. I couldn't be happier.
I guess the closest for me will be doing games in Knoxville, West London, and Indianapolis for the Colts.
Yeah, that's right. Saturday.
Or Darlington, which will be there next Sunday, hopefully.
Yep.
Hopefully I will be there.
Saturday, the Sancio Grand Prix at Indianapolis, USRN and JBMotorsports at 3. Sunday, NASCAR at Darlington, the Goodyear 400, USRN and JBMotorsports at 3. All right, Seth, let's see if Stage 2 can live up to Stage 1. That'd be hard.
It's a high bar.
I'd like to give it a shot, though.
But here we go. Chastain Bell in the front row. Let's rewrap him and stack it again.
Let's do it. Stage 2, 85 laps. Green flag in the air. Bell and Chastain on the front row take the green flag. They're being pushed at the back door. Larson shoves Chastain into turn 1. It's Ty Gibbs pushing Christopher Bell. Now Gibbs goes up, trying to make it 3 wide for the lead, but it's Chastain and Bell that battle off turn 2.
Bell has the edge on the high side of the racetrack. Chastain the inside. Behind him, you got Larson and Gibbs side by side. 3 wide in the middle of the pack. It's Chastain with the lead. He makes a little contact, forces Bell higher. Comes Larson. Chastain loose.
Larson 3 wide. Gibbs to the outside. 4 wide. Busher right through the center. 5 wide. That's incredulous. What in the wide world of sports are we watching? Busher went through the middle of 4 cars.
Chastain might have a problem. Chastain might have a flat or something. Because he's dropping like a rock.
Oh, my God.
Did we just see 5 wide across the start-finish line at Kansas?
I think we did. Martin Truex Jr. out of turn 4 nearly runs into Ty Gibbs. Chris Buescher cuts the dog leg. Kyle Busch is there, but Kyle Larson's away with the lead. Who in the world could have dreamt of this?
My God. Have you ever?
No. I've never seen that. I've seen a lot, but I've never seen that. Oh, my gosh. Here they come up out of turn 4. Bell and Busch fight for 5th. Now, this is the most incredible thing ever. I dare you to complain about this racing. I mean, Seth, they have to show a replay of that. But thank goodness here it is.
They're listening to us.
Larson to the bottom, 3 wide. Gibbs to the outside, 4 wide. And Buescher through the center. 5 wide.
Matt White is going to have a fit when he finally gets to see this
Oh, my gosh, we are so missing Matt White. And
jeez.
Oh.
Man. Are you kidding me? My goodness.
I mean, we thought we seen it all with Cindric and what he did at Atlanta. Wow. All right, let's try to compose ourselves here. Kyle Larson is away with the lead. Chris Buescher, after that move, is 2nd. 3rd is Ty Gibbs. 4th is Martin Truex. 5th is Kyle Busch. Just the most incredible racing at the Kansas Speedway. It is giving us everything we could have wanted and more. And Chris Buescher, the intestinal fortitude to even attempt that. Oh my!
That's. I mean, I've missed my call so unprofessionally because I'm still in awe of what we just saw. But Larson leads. Then it's Buescher, Gibbs, Truex, Busch, Bell, Gregson, Chastain, McDowell, and then Bowman.
That was just the most insane thing. I don't know. I hope that we have done it some kind of justice. I mean, they were 4 wide to the line. We've seen that. It's rare, but we've seen it. And then for Buescher to just stick it in and thread the needle to go 5 wide, Unfreaking believable. All right, now that we've composed ourselves, you made mention.
We said the back stretch was bigger than Talladega, not the front stretch.
Now, as you mentioned, Seth, Ross Chastain got in all of that dirty air, and he's really fallen back.
Yeah, back to 8th place. Meanwhile, further up, 4th place. Here's Kyle Busch. He'll make a pass on the inside of Martin Truex Jr., so move the 8 car up to 4th.
So Busch moves up to 4th position. He was not one of the players that we had at the front in Stage 1, which really neither was Truex. And here they are running 4th and 5th here through all of this madness on the restart.
It is Larson with the lead by over a second now over Buescher. Gibbs, Busch, Truex, Bell, Gragson, Chastain, Bowman, McDowell. Now your top 10 as Kyle Busch tries to pick up some ground.
By the way, sun peeking out towards the main grandstand here, part of the racetrack, out towards Turn 4 and onto the main straightaway. The sun is starting to peek out for the first time all day. And Kyle Larson is pulling away with the lead. It's a second and a half, the lead that he has on Chris Buescher. Let's run through the top 10. Ty Gibbs is 3rd. Kyle Busch is 4th. Martin Truex Jr. is 5th.
Christopher Bell is 6th. Noah Gragson is 7th. Ross Chastain is 8th. Alex Bowman is 9th. And Denny Hamlin is 10th.
Running 11th is Michael McDowell. Tyler Reddick 12th. Darrell Wallace Jr. 13th. William Byron 14th. 15th is Chase Elliott. Brad Keselowski 16th, Ryan Blaney 17th, Austin Cindric is 18th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Carson Hocevar round out the top 20. We are just about to complete lap number 99 of 267 in this race. We have had 13 lead changes in the first 100 laps here. Kyle Larson has led 22 laps so far. Christopher Bell's led 5. Denny Hamlin led 20 and won Stage 1. Ross Chastain has led 43 laps. Remember Denny Hamlin? He was the Stage 1 winner, lost 7 spots on pit road. He had a hard time getting out of his pit box. He was trapped in behind another car, and on the restart, he's dropped from 8th to 10th. So Hamlin, the Stage 1 winner, having to regroup here after losing positions on pit road. 100 laps complete, and Seth, I don't know that we've had a boring lap, at least under green.
Definitely not.
As good as it gets.
Definitely not.
Oh, boy. Truex and Bell continuing this fight that they're in for the 5th position as they roll up out of turn number 4. Truex holds on to the spot. He's got 3, maybe 4 car lengths on Bell. Noah Gragson running in 7th, as we mentioned. His terrific weekend continues. Now let's pick up Tyler Reddick in turn 1, Seth. He's going after Michael McDowell.
Yeah, Reddick trying to reel him in, and they go back to Kyle Larson, whose lead is now at over 2 seconds.
Ross Chastain trying to make up lost ground from the restart. He is 9th. He's trying to, I beg your pardon, he was 9th. He's just been passed by Alex Bowman. So Bowman has moved up to 9th. Chastain is backslid to 10th. And Chastain trying to make his way to the front again after fighting at the front that entire first stage. Meanwhile, Reddick to the inside of McDowell in turn 3. That's for the 11th position, and Reddick will make that pass. So Reddick slides up to 11th, getting past McDowell. Certainly thought we would see Reddick closer to the front today, and obviously a long way to go, nearly 200 laps, but a little bit staggering to not see Tyler towards the front. He was the 3rd choice among the folks that make the lines for this race, and he has not been in the top 10 much at all through 100 laps and change. Watch this, Seth. Here we go. Here's the onboard we all want. Wow!
Yo!
Chris Buescher threading the needle between 4 cars. Boy, he's my hero after that. Hero of the day. And not Italian or steak and cheese. He is currently second, 2.5 seconds behind Kyle Larson. Now that's the question, Seth. Do you call it a hero or a hoagie?
I've heard it both ways. I
call
it something I like to eat. I call it lunch or dinner, depending on what time of day I'm eating it.
Here's Hamlin in turn one, going after Noah Gragson, and he'll make that pass with relative ease. Hamlin 7th.
Yeah, Gregson tried to put a crossover, but wasn't close enough and wasn't fast enough to do so. So move Hamlin to 7th. Led 20 laps earlier today, did Denny Hamlin. He'd like to get back to the front.
Kyle Larson here on the main straightaway, putting a lap on the Derek Kraus automobile. Larson's lead 2.5 seconds, so whatever adjustments they made during that caution flag pit stop, it's been able to get him to the lead into clean air, and now he's stretching that lead out. Kraus, by the way, going a lap down. He is in the 35th position. There are 4 cars off the lead lap. Kraus, Corey Heim, Harrison Burton, and Riley Herbst are the 4 drivers that are off the lead lap. By the way, we told you earlier, hold that thought, we'll come right back to it in just a moment.
Regan?
Well, Mike, William Byron running in 14th right now, just updated what his car is doing. Take a listen to what he told crew chief Rudy Fugle and what Rudy told him back.
I'm not really tight on the restart, but I'm tight in my pit. Okay, support. Sun's out for the first time.
Been an interesting day.
Has been an interesting weather day, that's for sure. Byron, remember, gained all those positions off the start. He started 36th, quickly got up to 20th. He's stalled out since he's gotten to the top 15. He's running 14th at the moment, is Byron. What I was just about to say, though, Seth, we talked about our schedule next week, which is jam-packed. What about JBM's schedule? You want to talk about a packed schedule? We'll tell you about it in a moment.
Expected this early in the race, and right now Kyle's saying he needs to be a little freer, a little bit too tight up there as he leads the way.
Yeah, I'd say that was probably as long of a run that you'll.
So that was just Jamie Little reporting on Kyle Larson. Here you go, Seth. You want the JBM schedule next week?
Lay it on me, String
Hardest workers in racing, don't you know? MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3, Moto E at Le Mans. I didn't even know there was such a thing as Moto E. Never once have I heard of Moto E. And they're all at Le Mans. Now here's the question. Is that at the Circuit de la Sarthe? Is that at the Le Mans racetrack? Because that feels like a very large racetrack to run motorbikes on. Again, apologies for the ignorance. I am only just getting into MotoGP this year because it's now available on television stateside. But they've got MotoGP 2, 3, and E.
I'll be back in a minute.
In Le Mans. Formula E is in Berlin. They'll have that. British Touring Car Championship at Brands Hatch. And, of course, the Indy Grand Prix next Saturday. They'll have on JBM next week. And, of course, NASCAR at Darlington, which they'll have on Sunday. But they're the hardest working people in motorsports. God bless them. And Josh T lets us know that it's the motorcycle layout at Le Mans. So I'm guessing it's that same course, just a different layout. Is that what I'm led to believe? I was going to say, that's a very long racetrack for motorcycles. That would be very hard for me to believe. But anyhow, again, apologies for the ignorance. I am getting into MotoGP this year now that it's on television, and I have very much enjoyed it. But I don't have any kind of memory bank on it like I do all these other racing series, because it was never live on TV over here. They would show tape delayed races on Speed Channel all those years ago, and I'd never really watched it because they were always shown at midnight and 1 a.m. Anyhow, can't wait for all of that next week on JBM. As Denny Hamlin has made a pass, he's moved up to 6th, getting by his teammate Christopher Bell. So Hamlin moves up to the 6th position. That's 7 seconds off the leader, Kyle Larson. Larson shows the way as we work lap 115 of 267. Alex Bowman is closed right in on Noah Gragson. That's the battle for the 8th position. You heard in ones to watch, Alex Bowman has had some good runs here lately. Top 10 in 5 of the last 7 races, including 2 straight. Runs well here at Kansas as well. So he is up into the 9th position, and he's fighting Noah Gragson for 8th as we speak. But it's Kyle Larson up front by himself by 2 seconds on Chris Buescher, who runs in the 2nd position. And teams on pit road starting to get ready, because you have to think that pit stops are not far away for these leaders. Most of the time you would think they would just about try to cut the stage in half. It's an 85-lap stage. We're working lap 37 of the stage as we speak. So yeah, pit stops are probably only a few laps away. Okay, so Josh just sent me the motorcycle layout. Okay, so, well, yes, that is much different then. Yeah, I was in my mind seeing motorcycles. I mean, well, that if they ran the full course, that'd be, what, a 5-lap race, if that? So, yeah, that's much more believable for me. Thank you for clarification. Got some leaders on pit road this lap. Ryan Blaney was in, coming in a little bit earlier than everybody else. Joey Logano is also in, so the Penske car is in a little early. Michael McDowell is in, so too is William Byron. Brad Keselowski's there. Austin Dillon on pit road this lap. So those drivers from either the tail end or outside the top 10 coming in, and that means that we should have the leaders coming in this time, and we do. And Chris Buescher and Ty Gibbs were side by side coming to pit road. Buescher had Gibbs to his inside, but had to weave to the left to get into his pit box. They nearly had a coming together. Buescher a 4-tire change. He's away. So too is Denny Hamlin. Ty Gibbs gets the left side tires on his car on, and Ty Gibbs is away. Now the leader, Kyle Larson, comes to pit road. So Larson waiting a couple of laps later than everyone else, and Larson pits.
Kyle Larson comes in from the lead, says he's pretty good here. Could be a touch freer, so another air pressure adjustment for the 2nd time today. Regan.
Kyle Busch's race car is turning much better this run. He likes it, told the team it's better through the middle, but it is not loose in yet.
2311 has stayed out. Reddick is
slow on the left front of Larson. They had to re-jet the car up. They didn't get the lug nut latched on the left front tire, so they had to jack the car back up, tighten the lug nut, and Larson's away, but he just lost all of his lead, and if not more. And in fact, he's definitely lost more, because he's come out behind Martin Truex Jr., who at the start of this run was running 5th. So Larson has lost the lead and a lot of time with that slow pit stop. Good catch by that team, knowing that the left front lug nut was not on tightly. Remember, he lost a wheel at Texas while leading a couple of weeks ago. So good catch, but it certainly cost him a lot of time. Tyler Reddick has yet to pit. He's being shown as the leader. Darrell Wallace Jr. and Daniel Hemrick 2nd and 3rd, as they have yet to pit. And now, once the stops do cycle, Chris Buescher will become the leader of the race after Larson's hiccup on pit road. It'll be Buescher, Gibbs, Busch, Truex, then Larson. So Larson's going to have to fight back after a hiccup on pit road on the left front tire.
Jamie.
Well, I'm watching crew chief Cliff Daniels for Kyle Larson, watching the pit stop back. His playing it back for him. Cliff is actually part of the pit stops. He comes off the box and catches the tires. So you see it right there, watching to see what happens, and then he will radio Kyle and give him a heads up.
That's good reporting from Jamie Little on pit road. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick stays out. It's been 40 laps now since Reddick has been to pit road. He is being eaten up by a lot of these cars that are coming at him on fresh tires. Darrell Wallace Jr., his teammate who had stayed out to move up to second. Now Wallace does hit pit road as Gibbs is still on the racetrack. You'd have to think the goal here is to try to get a caution to try to reset everything, come down pit road under yellow, and probably bring everyone else down pit road with you. So it is a bit of a gamble being thrown out by Billy Scott, the crew chief of this 45 car, but it's not been the best race so far for Reddick. We thought he would be a contender. He was the, again, third choice on the betting line, but it's been rare to see him in the top 10 so far this evening. Alex Bowman streams by him out of turn number 2. Again, Chris Buescher will assume the lead once Reddick comes down pit road, and wouldn't imagine it would be much longer, and in fact, here he comes, right on cue. Reddick brings the Monster Energy Toyota to pit road. So he stayed out a little bit more than 40 laps, but this is going to put him well off the pace at the front, as he's going to lose a lot of time, or already has lost a lot of time, by being on those old tires for that long with everybody else out there on fresh tires. So the lead goes over to Chris Buescher now in the 17 for RFK Racing. We talked about it earlier in our rain delay coverage. Ford has had a terrible start to the season. First time in forever they've gone this long without winning. Looked like they had a win at Talladega nailed down with Michael McDowell and Brad Keselowski first and second coming to the flag. They threw it away. And Ford has still not won, and we were speculating earlier it might be a while until we get to a track where Ford runs well at. But Chris Buescher's trying to prove us to be people that don't know what they're talking about, which we pretty much are on most occasions, as he has taken the lead of this race. It is the 5th race that Chris Buescher has led this season. Came into this race having led just 26 laps on the year. Most recently, he led 6 laps 2 weeks ago at Talladega. So after the cycle of pit stops, let's reset the top 10 for you. Chris Buescher leads Kyle Busch by 2 seconds. Ty Gibbs runs 3rd. Kyle Larson is 4th. Barton Truex Jr. is 5th. 6th goes to Denny Hamlin. Alex Bowman rides 7th. Christopher Bell holds on to 8th. Noah Gragson is strapped in 9th. And Ross Chastain runs in the 10th position. Outside the top 10, you have Chase Elliott in 11th. William Byron is 12th. Brad Keselowski is 13th. Michael McDowell 14th. Austin Cindric runs 15th. Ryan Blaney 16th. 17th to Tyler Reddick. 18th rides the rookie Carson Hocevar. 19th is Mississippi's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And Darrell Wallace Jr. is slotted in line 20th. 21st is Joey Logano. Nothing much from him so far today. Austin Dillon for Richard Childress Racing is 22nd. Todd Gilliland runs 23rd. Zane Smith from California lines up 24th. And Josh Berry runs in 25th. Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time series champion, is 26th. Justin Haley from Indiana is 27th. Corey LaJoie runs 28th for Spire Motorsports. 29th is the Connecticut Yankee Ryan Preece, and Daniel Suarez of Mexico runs 30th. 31st is Chase Briscoe. 32nd is Austin Hill. Then the cars that are off the lead lap: 33rd, Daniel Hemrick. 34th, John Hunter Nemechek. 35th, Derek Kraus. 36th, running Harrison Burton. Corey Heim in 37th. 38th and last is Riley Herbst. Chris Buescher just made a pass on Austin Hill in turn 1, so that puts Hill off the lead lap in 32nd. We have run nearly half the race now, 129, make that 130 laps complete of 267. We have had 15 lead changes, and that gives me the chance, even though it's not mathematically halfway, with half the race complete, there is half the race left to run. Chris Buescher by 1.2 seconds leads Kyle Busch. Highest up Kyle has been today, running in the 2nd position. We enjoy having your company so far for the Advent Health 400 on USRN2 and JB Motorsports. After a lengthy delay because of weather, race was supposed to start a little after 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Obviously, we were about 3 hours late on that. By the way, Christian Malley, of course, with us in the chat section on Mixler, as he always is. Glad to have him with us as well, and he has to be super excited to hear Kyle Busch running in the second position. This is the highest up Kyle's been all race, and it has been a tough start to the season for Kyle Busch, but he did have a terrific weekend at Dover last week. See if we can get a word from Regan Smith.
A strong day is Gregson. Regan.
Mike, it's been a fantastic day for Noah Gregson yet again this week, just now moving up into the 8th spot past Christopher Bell. Talking to the team earlier today, they said it is amazing how his understanding of what he wants the car to do has really come full circle this year. He's back driving like he did and talking about his race cars like he did in the Xfinity years when he was so dominant at Junior Motorsports. They said his confidence and his personality throughout the shop right now is infectious. The guys love it when he comes around, and you can tell by the performance on the racetrack.
You know what I heard most in that interview in pre-race when you interviewed Gregson and Drew Blickensturfer? They're happy.
Yeah.
Having fun.
They're having fun.
Well, and that does make a difference, and it's obvious something is starting to click with that 10 team. Of course, there was a lot of sky is falling thoughts about Stuart Haas at the start of the season, and I'll raise my hand right away and say that I was one of them. Stuart Haas Racing coming into the season, you had thoughts of how in the world is this team going to have a chance to become competitive with how bad they were last year, and then how the driver lineup, just 4 very inexperienced or 4 drivers that have not done a lot of winning or any winning in the Cup Series for the most part. But they have done well, at least with the 10 team these last couple of weeks. Mentioned Gregson had a good run last week in Dover, but week prior to that he was 3rd at Talladega, so 3rd and 6th the finishes for Gregson the last couple of weeks, and he's running 8th as we speak. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick stayed out, led some laps just a moment ago. Now he's on fresher tires than everyone he's running around and trying to make up that ground that he lost while he was on old tires. He just picked up a position passing Michael McDowell in turn 1, so that puts Reddick up to the 14th position. McDowell having a good weekend, running 15th for Front Row Motorsports. Meanwhile, do need to tell you that Kyle Larson made up another spot. He passed Ty Gibbs for 3rd, and he's starting to run down Kyle Busch at 2nd. So Kyle Larson, clearly, he's got an amazingly good race car here. And that slow pit stop has only put the fire back in the belly of Larson, who comes up out of turn number 4, and he draws in on Kyle Busch. They cross the line, just a couple of car lengths separating the two Kyles. Back into turn 1 they go. This is the battle for the second position. Busch in car number 8, that black and burnt orange number 8 today, sponsored by Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen, and the blue and white number 5 of Kyle Larson. Down the back straightaway they go, into turn 3. Busch will keep it up top. Larson peeks to his inside. Doesn't have racing room to get around Busch here, so Busch will hold on to that second position. Larson will try to regroup and come at him again when he senses an opportunity. Meanwhile, at the 9th position, Ross Chastain and Christopher Bell nose to tail as they go to turn 1. Chastain keeps it topside, now diamonds the corner on the exit, keeps Bell in his rearview mirror. 26 to go in stage number 2 of the Advent Health 400, now 25 to go here at the Kansas Speedway. Glad to have you along for the ride as we have had just a spectacular race to this point. Chris Buescher is the leader by 1.5 seconds on Kyle Busch. And he's already approaching, leading more laps today than he had led for the entire season combined coming in. Race 12 of the season, so when the checkered flag flies tonight, We will be a third of the way through this NASCAR Cup Series season. Amazing how fast it goes by. We'll be a third of the way through the year when this race ends tonight. And then when the checkered flag falls next week at Darlington, we'll be halfway through the regular season. 26 races, of course, to make up the regular year. Kyle Larson still on the prowl. He is poking and prodding at Kyle Busch. Stays in behind him on the way to turn one. They have to maneuver their way around the lapped machine of Austin Hill. They do that with ease. Busch in the center of the racetrack through 1 and 2. Holds on to that spot from Larson. Of course, beyond the action on the racetrack today, we've been talking about the upcoming Summer Olympics in Paris. Can't wait to get that going on USRN here in about 12 weeks' time. Going to be a spectacular summer in Paris. Of course, the French Open is only a couple of weeks away at Roland Garros. That's where the tennis will be held at the Olympics as well at Roland Garros. So, boy, how much do you think Rafa Nadal would love to play at those Olympics at Roland Garros, the king of the clay for so many years now? As here's Larson, he senses an opportunity to get to the inside of Busch for second as they close up in on the lapped car of Chase Briscoe. So the two Kyles, Busch and Larson, go door to door back to turn one. Larson pulls it to the bottom. Busch stays topside, going to try to get the run off the top of the banking, but he cannot. Larson slides up and completes the pass. So Kyle Larson moves up into second, and with still 21 to go in the stage, it isn't totally out of the question that Larson might be able to rally back here and still win this stage despite that slow pit stop. So Larson up to second. And boy, oh boy, that car is on a rail right now. Ooh, but he has a bit of a hiccup in turn two, trying to get by Chase Briscoe. He got loose on the exit of the corner. Briscoe, trying to stay off of him, may have tapped the wall, and Kyle Busch came up with a big head of steam, and Busch repasses Larson. So Larson couldn't complete the pass on Briscoe in the center of the corner, and by the time they got off the corner, Briscoe was to his outside, took the air off the right side of Larson's car. Larson got loose, walked up the track, may have made slight contact with Briscoe. Couldn't tell if those two clattered into each other, but Briscoe certainly had to get out of the throttle, and he touched the wall, and Busch takes advantage and gets right back by Larson. So Busch goes to second. Meanwhile, Chris Buescher trying to pass Daniel Suarez here on the main straightaway and put Suarez a lap down. Remember, Suarez was very difficult to pass for the leaders last week at Dover, and he's not making it overly easy here on Buescher. Buescher slides up the track in the middle of 1 and 2. Those two nearly make contact, and Suarez does tap the wall on the exit of turn 2. That was almost a carbon copy of what happened a lap ago, 2 laps ago, with Larson and Briscoe. Meanwhile, Larson throws his car to the bottom of turns 3 and 4 as he tries to make his way around Busch again for the second position, but he still hasn't been able to complete that pass. So more great racing here. I mean, this has been phenomenal racing ever since the word go. We mentioned earlier it has become almost known in the NASCAR world when you have a rain-delayed start and the drivers were stood doing nothing for 3, 4, 5 hours, had all that energy pent up. You get them on the track and throw the green flag on them, and they'll go crazy sometimes. Well, they put on some great racing here this evening at Kansas. Buescher's lead after struggling to get by Suarez is now less than a second, but Busch and Larson continue to fight off turn 2. Side by side go the two Chevrolets driven by Kyles. Busch keeps it topside. Larson dives it down hard in the middle, slides up, gets in front of Busch, and Kyle Larson reclaims the second position. And now he'll look to try to run down Buescher for the lead in the stage win. 9/10 of a second is the gap with 15 to go in the stage. So before all of that broke out, I was talking about the Olympics coming up in 12 weeks' time. We're trying to figure out the perfect sport for Josh B and Josh T to be on. So Josh B has expressed interest on beach volleyball and cycling. We need to figure out what Josh T is going to do. If he indeed is going to join us, which it sounds like that he might want to. We got to figure out what Josh is going to be on. Josh T, that is. We've got table tennis, taekwondo, rugby sevens, judo, handball, badminton. All kinds of things that Josh T could be on. And we'll have to settle it out. We've got 12 weeks to get this straightened out. Matt's going to be a part of it. Seth and I certainly are going to be a part of it. Maybe Pierre as well. Certainly hope so. And we're definitely going to have basketball covered. We're definitely going to have swimming, track and field, tennis. We'll have all of that covered. We're going to have beach volleyball covered. So now here's one. My God, whoever would have thought of this as Denny Hamlin gets to the inside of Ty Gibbs on the main straightaway. This is for 4th position. Hamlin puts his nose ahead of Gibbs as they rocket back down into turns 1 and 2. Hamlin in the middle of the track. Gibbs keeps it tucked up on the outside. Let's see if Hamlin can complete this pass.
And looks like he will go on board. Yeah, he's going to complete the pass. So, all right, Mr. Owens, what have I missed for starters? So you're just doing more Olympic stuff.
Yes, so I've been trying to bring up the Olympics a couple of times, but the great racing has kept me from doing it. How dare they run so well?
Whoa,
make such entertaining racing. Reddick, of course, on fresher tires than anybody, slices to the inside of Chase Elliott on the exit of turn 4, and Reddick makes that pass to 10th, and now he'll close in on Ross Chastain. Reddick, he stayed out longer than everybody else during the cycle of stops, so he now has fresher tires than everybody, and because of that, he is coming at a rate of knots here on a bunch of guys. He just dispatched of Elliott. Here he is out of turn 4, dives to the inside of Ross Chastain here on the main straightaway, and he'll likely put Chastain away, although Chastain has fought everyone really hard tonight. Here's Reddick to his inside. This is the fight for 9th, and it looks like Tyler Reddick has the spot.
Indeed. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's a big rate of knots right there. Chastain inside. Austin Hill, you better get out of the way, my friend. Reddick, though, slides up in front of him. Gregson, though, ahead of both Reddick and Chastain.
Yeah, Chastain fights back on Reddick here, which was a bit unexpected. I think Reddick had to bail out of the throttle on the run to turn 3 because Austin Hill was in his way, the lapped car, and now Chastain goes to the inside of Reddick. Reddick keeps it wound up topside. Who's going to win this fight off turn 2?
And looks like it's going to be Reddick. He'll clear Chastain down the back straightaway. Now he'll dive to the inside of Noah Gregson in turn 3. Reddick inside. Will he make it stick? Whoa, not quite.
Nope, Gregson keeps it wound up topside. Reddick had to bail out of the throttle on the exit of 4. That gave a big run to Chastain, and Chastain goes after Reddick and repasses him. Meanwhile, we've got a fight for 3rd heading to turn 3.
See, we do. It's Denny Hamlin on the inside of Kyle Busch. Side by side. Looks like Hamlin might be able to clear, but Busch up against the wall, fights back.
Oh, boy, and Busch slides it out of turn 4, just keeps it off the wall, and boy, Busch didn't lift either. He keeps it pointed the right direction, and back in front of Hamlin he goes in turn 1. Hamlin will fight back to his inside. He drifts up, nearly makes contact with Busch, and Busch sails by.
Busch does sail by as, meanwhile, Tyler Reddick trying to get Ross Chastain out for 8th, but they're all chasing Chris Buescher at the front.
6 to go in the stage. Buescher inheriting the lead during the cycle of green flag stops when Kyle Larson had a slow stop, Seth. Larson fell back to 5th. He's gobbled up the competition to get back to 2nd, and he's closing in on Buescher, but running out of time.
Yeah, he is running out of time. 6 to go on the stage. Meanwhile, Elliott and Bell side by side. Oh, Elliott really pulled to the inside of Bell. They still battle into turn number 3, and they continue to battle. Bell driving inside, but Elliott, oh, what a power move by Elliott on the outside.
Bell holds strong on the inside. They'll run door handle to door handle across the line. Bell moves down to cut the dog leg, get away from Elliott. Now they come almost together in turn 1. They're right on each other's doors here through turns 1 and 2.
Still side by side, Bell and Elliott down the back straightaway. It is Elliott with the spot. Bell trying to fight back, but Chase Elliott will keep the slim edge in front of Seabell at the front. Meanwhile, main straightaway.
Hamlin door to door with Busch again. The fight for third begins to heat up once more, and Hamlin throws it hard into the corner. Now Busch going to try to counter with a crossover, but Hamlin's too far ahead of him.
Yep, and you're right about that. So here's Gibbs trying to reel in Chastain as they go into turn number 3. Tyler Reddick inside of Ross Chastain, 8th place the battle. Chastain going to try and power by, and he'll get the spot.
So Chastain holds on to 8th as Reddick continues to run him down on the fresh tires, but I think those tires have equalized a little bit now, and his advantage that he had is just about gone. He does not have a counter at Chastain in turns 1 and 2.
All right, so counter. Oh, sorry. Look for that counter there. A lot of things are happening here behind the scenes at the studio right now. Chris Buescher at the front of the pack.
Buescher leading by nearly 1 second on Kyle Larson with 2 laps to go in stage number 2.
All Chris Buescher at the front. He has a very, very comfortable lead. He's led 38 laps so far. And he continues to show it. Oh, what are we doing here?
Coming out of turn number 4, starting the final lap of stage 2. Buescher's lead holding strong at about 1 second. Last lap of the middle stage in Kansas. Buescher, 9/10 of a second his lead on Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin is 2 seconds back in third. Then it's Kyle Busch and Ty Gibbs. Let's follow Buescher as he exits turn 2.
Down the back straightaway, it is Chris Buescher leading. Meanwhile, here is Truex on the outside. I tell you, he is blew past Ty Gibbs for 5th. And Chase Elliott outside of Noah Gragson. That's for a spot, but here comes Seabell.
Green and white checkered flag down on the main straightaway on Chris Buescher. He scores just his 6th career stage win. The fight for the final point in the stage. Elliott and Gragson are just about dead even as they cross the line, but Gragson got him by a nose. So Buescher wins the stage. Larson is 2nd. Caution flag now falls as the top 10 complete the final lap of stage 2. 6th career stage win for Buescher. It's his first stage win of the season. Larson was 2nd, Hamlin was 3rd, then came Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr., followed by Ty Gibbs, Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, and Noah Gragson. Missing out on points, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, and Brad Keselowski. Here's what I was trying to get to, and Josh has sent me photographic proof, and again, that's Josh Birch. Josh is a trained fencer, so he can call fencing in the Olympics.
Really?
Here he sent a picture. He's holding a trophy. He's won fencing trophies and awards. Boy, you think you know a guy.
I tell you.
How do you like that? Josh Birch, the fencer. On guard.
Josh Birch, the fencing guy. Oh my goodness! So, I understand that some of my quote unquote radio stations might interfere somewhat, but yeah, you gotta. I asked you a while back if you were gonna do it or not. I ain't send me a schedule so I confirm I know what I'm doing for the Olympics.
Yeah, and we're getting that sorted out on the Google Doc actually. We're getting it in slowly but surely as the schedules get confirmed. Now here's one. So I would love to hear a fencing radio call. I've lived my entire life in sports broadcasting, and I've lived a good number of those years now, these last handful of years in radio sports broadcasting. I've never heard a fencing radio call. Can't say I ever have. I would love to hear that. Now here's one. Josh T comes back and says he can do equestrian.
Josh just sent it to me on Facebook. There he is. There's that masked man.
Yeah, on guard.
There he is with his trophy. Look at him go.
It's unbelievable. The only trophy I ever won was when I was 5 years old and played T-ball.
I got a participation trophy for soccer. That was it. I was on the team, and you did some things. Here's your trophy.
And believe me when I say I could not hit a baseball off a tee if I tried today. Heck no, I couldn't hit one off a tee. Can't hit a golf ball off a tee.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Into the athletic accomplishments of Matthew Owens and Seth Eves. It's a short list.
I played upward basketball for a year. Mediocre at best. Although I did coach upward basketball for a few years.
Now here's Josh T. Sending me a message. He was on his school's 3-on-3 basketball tournament champion.
Whoa! I didn't know we had another hooper up in here.
Okay, well, Josh can do 3-on-3 basketball now. See, we're going to have every sport covered at this rate.
I can't wait to hear him call Haley Van Lith in the 3x3x3. That's what she does. And Van Lith. I can hear him say Van Lith like that.
Well, anybody that wants...
we have absolutely no fun around here. We here at USRN and JBMotorsports are a top-notch organization dedicated to the most professional broadcasting known to man.
Oh, yeah, you know it. Well, anybody that wants to get in on the Olympic fun, more than welcome to do it. And I'm talking to the other folks on the team at JBM. Anyone that wants to get in, have a ball. We're totally redoing our Olympic coverage this year. We've got a new format and everything for how we're doing the Olympics this year, and it's going to be so much fun. And the way we're reformatting our coverage, we're going to get more sports and more coverage than we've ever gotten before. And that's why we're redoing it the way we are. And, yeah, we're kind of excited. And I did make mention, just for you, Seth, while you were away, I made mention, one of the reasons, not the only, but one of the reasons we are excited, it's in Europe and not Asia. No disrespect to our Asian friends, our Asian brothers and sisters, our Asian listeners. We are thrilled that the Olympics are not in Asia this year.
Amen to that.
Leaders to pit road under this caution.
And he will have that opening out as he gets ready to leave. Got looser earlier this run than any other run of the race, so they'll make an adjustment for that. In the 17 of Chris Buescher, he built a little bit too free after the green flag stops. They are already thinking ahead if they have another green flag stop. Jamie?
Adjustments all day long on pit road to keep up with the changing track. The 54, Ty Gibbs, tight center off. They're going to make another air pressure adjustment to free him up a bit. The 5, we're keeping an eye on him. Remember, the last stop was not good. This stop was good. 4 tires, air pressure.
Look at this, guys. A 5 beat him out.
Going to be a photo finish on pit exit, and Larson, as Clint Boyer so elegantly tells us, does beat Chris Buescher off pit road, followed by Kyle Busch and Ty Gibbs. So Larson is going to be the control car on this restart as the 5 team does good work on pit road, and Denny Hamlin slow on pit road again. So Hamlin has lost more ground on pit road. Pit road has not been the friend of Denny Hamlin today. Josh T also tells me that he won a British sidecar race and came third in a W Series race. So Josh T races as well.
He does everything.
He's the most interesting man in the world, apparently.
Yeah, he needs to be the new Dos Equis Spiker.
just never know. You never know what people do in their off times. You think you know people, and they just have a whole other world. We got a rugby champion in our circle. Now, of course, the sport that I'm most proud of ever playing but never did anything with was tennis.
Yeah, you are a amateur tennis player.
Emphasis on the amateur. But love playing tennis, love playing pickleball. That's what's going to be. Pickleball is probably going to be a sport in the Olympics sooner or later. Like the way it's growing, it might make the cut in LA in 28.
Well, I mean, hell, break dancing's in the Olympics.
Oh boy, who wants to do break dancing?
I think it opens up a can of worms. What are you saying?
Who wants to do break dancing? How in the world do you even do that? Got to get someone on archery.
Didn't we put Jerry Punch on that in a younger monolithic broadcast?
You're going way down the rabbit hole now, aren't you?
Yeah, 7 years ago, but we did do that. Want Scott Pelley in the opening ceremony?
Josh Birch also says Megan is trained as a fencer. Wow, and a trained archer.
There you go, the archery solved.
Oh, are you kidding? It's all coming together.
Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. Busher, the tail of the field, crew member over the wall too soon as we go back to actually doing our job.
Oh, is that a shame for Chris Busher?
And what in the world is that Ziploc baggie on his freaking...
That might be a windshield tear-off that's gotten caught on the back. But that is a shame for Chris Busher. He's, stage winner. Been top 5, top 10 all race long. Now going to have to fight from the back with less than 100 to go. My gosh. Now you can't... We talked about this last week with William Byron. You can't lose these races on pit road. These races are too competitive to have mistakes on pit road. And Chris Busher and the RFK team may have just thrown away their chance. And we're about to see a video evidence of it, Seth, on our end. And yeah, there's 3 pit crew members have feet on the ground when he's more than a pit box away.
Yeah.
And here I think you're going to see the windshield tear off. Oh, yeah. Windshield tear off got ripped off, and it flew on to, well, basically as some people would call it, the roof of the car.
Oh, thank you.
Meanwhile, should be, well, yeah, there's Busher going to the back here. So he's dropping to the back right here. And boy, that has to be painful to watch all of those cars go by, as he was going to restart second. And instead, will restart at the tail end of the line, behind all the lead lap and lap down cars. That's the penalty. Wow.
Long way to go and a somewhat short time to get there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen how long it's taken William Byron to get from the back to the front. Just about the entire race for him to just get in touching distance of the top 10 after starting 36th. Field was given 1 to go this last time around, so we're set to go back racing. Just past 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. local in Kansas City. Glad you've stuck around with us.
That's 1 a.m. Josh time.
Yeah, I can't believe they're still up.
Josh and Josh.
See, and that's why someone needs to do the badminton, so we can do a China and China.
Oh, God.
Again, we're deep down a rabbit hole there. If you don't know what we're talking about, don't feel
You're
bad.
probably
No one
better
else
off
does. Yeah.
Get yourself lucky.
There's a group of 2 that know what we're talking about on this show. Anyhow, here we go. coming to the restart, which will come with 94 laps to go in what has been a spectacular race at Kansas. What will the final stage throw at us? The two Kyles on the front row, Larson to the inside, Busch to his right elbow, green flag unfurled over the field, and we're back to racing again. Busch was ready for Larson on that restart, but Larson got a good push down into turn one from Martin Truex Jr., and it's Larson who gets away to the lead.
Well, Noah Gregson washed up into one car. I think it was Chase Elliott there, about 8th place. As they move to the back straightaway, Austin Dillon's got a puff of smoke coming from the back of that number 3 automobile, but we're still green. They're nearly 4 wide there his way in the middle of the pack as they race on into 4.
Oh, they're going to be 4 wide here at the line again. Joey Logano fans to the outside of Christopher Bell, Austin Cindric, and Austin Dillon. Logano nearly got squeezed into the wall. They're still 4 wide through the corner. Darrell Wallace Jr.'s in there.
Indeed he is. Darrell Wallace Jr. is indeed in there as Blaney now goes to the inside of Darrell Wallace Jr.
Meanwhile,
but it's
up
all
front,
Kyle Larson at the front. Sorry there.
Larson skipping away from Kyle Busch at the front. Here's William Byron talking about him, how long it's taken him to get towards the top 10. He's there now. He just passed Carson Hocevar for 10th. He's passing Chase Elliott for 9th, and we have a yellow flag that's being displayed in a crash in turn 1. And who else would it be than Jimmy Johnson, who has crashed off the top of turn 2. He comes to the grass, a puff of fire out of the hood quickly extinguishes itself. Corey LaJoie has also crashed. His car is up against the outside retaining wall of turn 2, driver's side up against that outside wall. Caution is out. It's the first caution of the race for incident. It happened towards the back. Jimmy Johnson, Corey LaJoie, and maybe another car also involved. It's a hard hit for Jimmy Johnson.
I think Austin Hill also got some damage. You mentioned him.
No, and clearly this is a hard hit for Johnson because he must have pounded the outside wall with the right side. We're about to see it here on our monitors. He was going off into turn number. Oh, my goodness. He got hooked, and he slid down to the apron and then hammered the outside wall.
Jeez.
That's a heavy impact for Jimmy Johnson.
Chandler probably squinted.
I mean, he got nailed. He got absolutely nailed. What in the world?
He's looking that way as to say, what the heck was that? Chandler's like, okay, Jimmy, playtime's over.
Austin Hill did receive damage. So 3 cars at least.
Oh,
my gosh.
Oh, whammo.
Yeah, he got turned at a terrible angle going into the corner. Again, this happening at the back, so not a lot of cameras on it. Never could tell who got into Johnson, but it turned him all the way down to the turn 1 apron, and then he came right back across the track, and he tattooed the wall, and Corey LaJoie involved with him. Jimmy Johnson, of course, a 3-time Kansas winner. And, I think he's looking for somebody. Now, that's very un-Jimmy-like to climb out of the car and look for somebody before he steps into the ambulance.
All right. To play the Allen Bestwick game from Indy, survey says. Well, it's hard to tell what survey says because he's. What?
Yeah,
okay.
He's being hidden by the ambulance on our screen, but. Yeah, when you take a hit that hard and you get dumped like that into the corner, I mean, that's an insane hit. Has every right to be upset. Austin Hill has made it to pit road. Not a ton of damage to his machine. 3rd entry for Richard Childress Racing this year, Austin Hill. Running the 33. And we have our first caution of the race for incident. Nearly made it 200 laps without getting one, which is always good to see. But as wild as these restarts have been, eventually we were going to see somebody get into somebody on a restart. It was bound to happen.
Maybe we'll hear from Jimmy, and we'll find out who exactly was the guilty party of that. We got, Alex from Grid. I don't know where he's sitting, but Maybe he could tell us who it was.
Johnson will be the first retiree of the race. Seth, next week the Cup Series heads to Darlington for the Goodyear 400, and I know it's one of your favorites.
Yeah, probably my number one favorite track, to be perfectly honest with you. There's one that's closer, but, man, it's in the state of South Carolina. It's an old track. It's still an old-school racetrack. Let me tell you something. No matter what kind of car you have, no matter what kind of aero package, no matter what kind of this and that you have at Darlington, it's still about the only track of the circuit where you have to race the racetrack. 400 miles or 500, it will wear you out. And it should be another fun festival. The Darlington, the fans are always great, and going to be another great weekend in the PD region of South Carolina. Trucks on Friday, Xfinity on Saturday, and the Cup on Sunday.
Let's hear from the Fox gang and their ones to watch.
Have an eye on it.
It's 45 car. Tyler Reddick's won 3 times here in that 45, and anybody's in it, right? All 3 drivers won in the 45, but I think fell back a little bit. Track conditions are changing. My man's moving to the front, Kevin.
Well, I like the 8 car, Kyle Busch. He's done a great job today adjusting on his car and doing what he has to do to consistently stay up front. Right now, it seems like you just don't need to make any mistakes.
Well, I was watching Chris Buescher until the pit crew miscue, but I got an eye on Ty Gibbs. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Hey, maybe today. And that's your Credit One Bank ones to watch.
And we promise you here at USRN, we did ones to watch before Fox did. They have stolen it from us. I think, Mr. Eves, that we are about to find out who was the one that knocked Johnson around into the corner, and I think, what was that survey says? Corey LaJoie. And I mean, wow.
Oh.
Oh,
God. Wow.
I mean, he dumped him.
Yeah.
He
picture tells the story.
And Johnson took an incredible impact into that turn 1 wall. I mean, he just got dumped. And this is a heavy hit. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Corey is still running, so too is Austin Hill. Jimmy is not.
Yeah.
So, Seth, we were talking about Darlington, your favorite. You know, we're not too far away from getting to my favorite.
Is correct. 3 favorite tracks, by the way, if you're asking me, on the NASCAR circuit. And I think this is in order. And I think this is a combination of how good the racing is and fan experience. Darlington, Bristol, Charlotte.
77 days from getting to Indianapolis for the Brickyard 400. Now, here you go,
So
Seth.
weird. It's so weird to me. I really do feel like, it really does feel like you've brought up the countdown to the Brickyard 400 more than you have the countdown to the Indy 500.
Oh, I am so ready.
You are ready for the Brickyard 400, which, hey, I am too.
And what I was about to ask you on that, do you want to be on the air if by some unreal reason Jimmy Johnson's contending to win that race?
Well, you're going to need me on air. You're going to need me on air for a therapy session, but again, like you said, I don't think I would lose that much sleep. All due respect to Jimmy Johnson, but as we always ask, on and off air, we wonder, why is he doing this? That's kind of where that comment, when I decided to phrase a different way of saying it when I said Chandra's probably squinting saying fun time's over.
Yeah. Well, and of course, for those that haven't heard, if you're listening on JBM, we're going to go all out that weekend. Brickyard 400 weekend, the return of the Brickyard 400. The magic and majesty is back, as you may have heard during commercial breaks.
Jim Nantz voice, the magic is back in Indianapolis.
And
NASCAR has reinstated the magic at Indianapolis.
So here's what we've got. On race day, we've got a ton of programming already set for you. We've got a special pre-race show that leads you into the race. We're going to have qualifying and practice on that Saturday. We're going to have the Xfinity race on that Saturday. And not to mention, I don't want to give too much away here, but we've already got a week's worth of special programming set up for that week on the build-up to the Brickyard 400. Just over the moon that race is back. Never should have gone anywhere to begin with. But if there's one positive that could come out of it leaving for, 3 years, it's that maybe, not even maybe, I know there's some, I don't know how many, but I know that there's some amount of people that I've already heard from. These 3 years have allowed them to take a step back and say, I need to appreciate the Brickyard 400 more than I did. And if that's the only positive we get from it, then that's a heck of a positive for people to come back into that race here in a little under 80 days and appreciate it once it's there.
And you've got this new car for the first time, and it races relatively well at Pocono, so that would give you a little bit of a cause for joy. So,
and again,
yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it.
I'm not making this up, and I'm not saying it just because I'm, this huge Indianapolis fan. The Brickyard 400 is a race that if you win, you know you are championship material. You have to have everything in line to win that race. Why do you think, however many times, that race was won by the eventual champion? I mean, we can go up and down the line the amount of times that happened.
You don't get too many has-been flukes that won that thing.
No. You had Jeff Gordon win the race in 98, went on to be the champion. Dale Jarrett, 99. Bobby Labonte, 2000. Gordon in 01. Jimmy Johnson did it a couple of times, winning the race and the championship. Tony Stewart did it in 05.
06 and 08, Johnson did it, championship.
Mm-hmm.
And a win. Yeah, 06, 08.
09.
Oh, that's right. He did win in 09, too. That's right. Should have been one, but we'll leave it at that.
Right.
Kyle Busch in 2015.
And Jeff Gordon should have been the champion in 14.
Mm-hmm.
Matt White's not here to disagree with me on that.
What'd you say?
Matt White's not here to disagree with me on that.
Oh, he disagrees with you on that?
Yeah, he says Harvick was the best guy all year. He was okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, God.
More on the Brickyard later. Coming to the restart with 84 laps to go. Again, it's the Kyles, Larson, and Busch
the race winners aren't.
on the front row. Green flag in the air. We're back to racing. 84 laps left in Kansas. And again, the two Kyles on the front row, dead even as they make their way to turn one. Larson now puts a nose in front. Tyler Reddick goes way up the track in turn two. He tries to make up places, 3 and 4 wide in the middle of the pack off two.
Getting in between cars down the back straightaway, but it's Kyle Larson leaving. Here comes Kyle Busch. He dives way down to the inside. It's the Kyle and Kyle show at the front. Larson, though, going to have the edge on the outside.
Tyler Reddick nearly hit the wall on the exit of turn 4. He's trying to use that high line to make up spots, but it's cost him here. He's lost 2 spots, if not more. It's a ground-saving run for Kyle Busch in turn 1. Martin Truex Jr. closes in on both of these leaders. There's trouble off turn 2, I think.
Yeah, somebody clipped the wall. We got a car spinning in the middle of the pack. It's Austin Cindric. He collects Michael McDowell. McDowell spins. Darrell Wallace Jr. also in the accident. So a 3-car incident on the back straightaway. It's Austin Cindric, Bubba Wallace, and Michael McDowell that have been collected.
Caution is out again, and once again we can only make 1 lap after the restart before we start piling them up. Austin Cindric with a bunch of damage.
Caution steal.
Yeah. Bunch of damage to the left front of Austin Cindric. I think Wallace has been able to avoid a lot of damage. He does have a flat right front. Cindric has definitely gotten the worst of this in the 2-car. He is going to be able to drive away. And all of this started, I think, Seth, the way I saw it, and we'll see it again, I think Denny Hamlin started to drift up the track, and that's what started to backlog traffic. That's exactly what happened. Hamlin got loose in 2. Everyone else checked up, and it just sandwiched Cindric into the wall. And then once he hit the wall, he lost control of the car, came down into Wallace. Michael McDowell got tagged, and we're actually quite fortunate that it wasn't 5 or 6 that got involved.
My goodness. Yeah. Oh. Wallace gets the wall. And then Cindric goes back down to the inside. And he just clips Wallace in. Before certain people complain, I was going to say Cindric couldn't do anything about that, really.
No.
He just lost complete control of his race car. And Wallace and McDowell just innocent victims.
So, another caution for incident, just the second we've had. Good driving by Ryan Preece, Josh Berry, and Harrison Burton to avoid contact. Yeah, Hamlin just started backing up in the corner, and it was just a accordion effect from there. Josh T has let me know that it's, he sent the message at 20 past 1 in the morning, and the whole gang is still here watching and listening. So that breeds the question. We're going to have Omi on the Olympics? Are we going to... we can have all kinds of people on the Olympics. Austin Cindric.
So we're going to have a can of worms there.
Yeah, Austin Cindric is climbing out of the car on pit road. Of course, it's a bank holiday over there in England.
He's correct.
So they're staying up late.
Staying up late and party every day.
That's a good tweet you sent me.
What, Corey LaJoy?
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it looked like.
There's a certain part of the incident we don't like, but it was funny to hear the three of them in the TNN booth just lose their mind over that.
Oh.
Which also led to, I think, one of the more unlikely feuds, if you will. Steve Park versus Joe Nemechek.
Yeah, both of those cars were super fast that night. Okay, for those of you that are listening, we always have to remember we are talking to a bit of a new audience here.
That is correct.
So when we do
history lesson again.
So when we go down at this rabbit hole, we're talking about the 2000 running of the Winston, which is what was the All-Star race was known as. This was in 2000. The Winston was still known as like this. So let's hear from Jimmy first.
One of those racing things. So unfortunate, but we'll dust ourselves off and take the Advent Health Toyota home and get ready to do it again in May. But just trying to set myself up for the corner, and obviously I got a little help from behind, and just kind of hanging on from there.
All right, thank you, Jimmy.
And he was not angry.
Again in May. It's already May.
And he was not angry, Jimmy, in that interview, which is very Jimmy Johnson-like. He was angry in the moment, though. Anyway, so the Winston in 2000, great race. And you had two guys that, for their entire careers, underdogs, Steve Park and Joe Nemechek. And both of them had terrific cars that night. Park won the Open to advance into the All-Star race earlier in the night. Nemechek was there through a win he had at New Hampshire the previous year driving for a different team. They had great cars all night. Bill Elliott had the field covered for the first two segments. He faded back on one of the late restarts. Dale Jarrett got to the front. And it was a good 6 or 7 cars in a big pack off a restart. Park got into Nemechek on the exit of turn 2. I don't know how Nemechek saved the car. He should have wrecked it. Should have been a heavy crash. He saves it. They come around the next time to turn 1, and Nemechek's not going to put up with that tomfoolery. And he goes into... Can't you see Joe Nemechek as someone that would say the word tomfoolery? Anyway.
Yeah.
He drives...
Yeah. People got to start using their heads and avoid this tomfoolery.
Yeah. Nemechek just drove into turn 1, and he wasn't going to lift. And he drove into turn 1, and he used the back of Steve Park's car as brakes, dumped Park. The only bad part about it for Nemechek was that when Park spun, he came back up and hit Nemechek. Park killed the wall. And then, as Eli said, in comes Stewart. In comes Gordon. A major accident in the final segment of the Winston. Again, I can tell you all of this, Seth, but I can't tell you what happened yesterday.
Mystic Dan won the Kentucky Derby.
That is right, yes.
The Bruins beat the Maple Leafs again.
But yeah, that was a heck of a race. Tony Stewart just dumped Mark Martin in a straight line earlier in that race.
He did, didn't he?
Just turned him straight into the wall. They were going in a straight line.
That was about par for the course. That was about par for the course for Tony back in those days. And then, of course, Junior passed. He just, to his credit, he just flew through the field in that last segment. And what now?
Yeah, he did.
And then he beat Dale Jarrett. He passed him with, 2-3 laps to go, which Jarrett had some smoke from the back of that car. It was back when the All-Star race was really a big, like you said, a big event.
Oh, it was huge. Huge.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah, it was huge, big, was it Winston, or was it the Camel Open? Where's my ice cream? Anyway.
Meanwhile, Josh T tells me it is a bank holiday, but he still has school. Why are you up?
The sense does that make? Because we actually played it. I was doing something, and I had to ask, what is it for? The purpose of a bank holiday was meant for, employees to spend time with their families. Well, you can't do that if the kid's still in school.
Coming to the restart, again, the two Kyles on the front row. Busch, the control car, on the inside, and he gets a great jump as the green flag waves. Busch, with a push from Ty Gibbs at the back door. 3 rows back, William Byron wedges his way to the inside of Noah Gragson and Alex Bowman. They were 3 wide, now they're 4 wide. Kyle Busch leads.
Kyle Busch clear to the lead. Larson and Gibbs side by side for second now. They'll tuck back in line. Still 3 wide mid-pack with Gregson, Bowman, and Byron. Ross Chastain rides up against the wall. Byron into Gregson, and Bowman almost got pinched into the wall.
And Carson Hocevar comes flying into that battle. Chase Elliott does too. They were nearly 4 wide across the line. Christopher Bell's into the thick of it. Further up, 3 wide, Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, and a zooming Martin Truex Jr.
Zooms way high, and we got trouble. Caution's out.
It's out of turn 2.
It's Harrison Burton. He spun out the Wood Brothers car. So trouble for Harrison Burton. The Motorcraft Ford spins. We're hearing Austin Hill might have been involved. That would have been his second accident. And caution again, and Harrison is not the kind of smoke show he's wanting to pull out.
What happened here? Oh, boy. When you say cautions breed cautions, this is what you mean.
Sad, really, because it's breaking up the flow of what was a great race. Oh, Harrison just got loose.
Yeah. Wonder if that left front tire was already going down, and that's why he spun. Because that left rear is done. Here you go. So now, I remember when I asked Josh T, why is he still awake? I feel like this is a solid excuse. He's controlling this stream.
You know, that's probably a good reason why he's still up. You know, the more I think about it,
Also, he goes to a private school. That's why he is in school tomorrow. Or, well, for him it's today. And he also says, I'm staying up because I'm having fun with the broadcast. Which I'm glad you are, because I was just thinking, you could put the broadcast on, and surely you could probably lay down and go to sleep for an hour, hour and a half, set an alarm, get back up, see where we're at. But apparently he's having fun. So he's going to be with us on some NASCAR races as the year goes on, once we find some availability. He was great to work with last year at Chicago and in the Xfinity race at Michigan. But availability for that group, they're doing something all the time.
I tell you, it's exactly right. Hey, but yeah, that was gonna be yeah, you can throw. Hey, listen, if you we'll pay the We'll take the blame from your teachers if you're underperforming at school.
Just send them.
Tell them you had a good excuse. You were running a world-class stream in front of 15s of people.
just send them my way. Tell them to call. I'll give you the number. Send them my way. I'll come up.
Or
with an excuse.
I don't know if in private school, it's not really, but I gotta say it like this to make the thing. But, up there, we'll pay the fine, Whoopi. I'll pay it for you.
Gosh.
We'll pay the freaking fine.
Oh, Lord. Well, of course.
The bank holiday, baby.
Oh, thank you. Of course.
Yes, sir. What happened?
Gosh, Jesus. We've lost him.
It was in China.
We've lost him.
What is there about this? Oh, it's one of the all-time great rants.
Yeah.
It really is.
Of course, on Sundays.
Talking about Aaron Rodgers at the golf at Pebble Beach, he had the handicap mistake. He had a different handicap, but he kind of cheated his way. Cheated!
On Sundays these days, I'm in bed just about by now on Sundays. I'm a big proponent of doing these races on Sundays and then getting to bed early, getting as much sleep as possible, and get ready for whatever Monday's got to throw at me. But not going to bed early on this
Probably
Sunday.
Not a bad idea.
The way we're going.
I'm gonna be doing that same thing because I actually have I have work tomorrow, so, and I have work on Wednesday too. So actually,
not the way we're going right now. We're gonna get to bed early.
And Tuesday. I get that money, yo. I get that bag. Blame that money back.
Now, Josh says he has GCSE exams starting Friday. I have no idea what that is.
I got something on my mind, but I'll keep my mouth shut.
Please do.
Yes.
See if anyone comes to pit road here when pit road gets opened up, because what do we have, 73 to go? Be right on the edge of a fuel window when we go green. And will we get anyone to pit road here? None of the leaders. Now, Denny Hamlin does pit, so does Chris Buescher. Now, they were outside the top 15. Michael McDowell is in. Justin Haley is in. So not many came to pit road. So, figured more would come to pit road there and try to stretch it on fuel, but the way we're going to have so many cautions. Maybe that's what they're banking on, is more cautions.
Yeah, that might be what they're doing. But there's that word bank again.
Regan Smith has caught up with Austin Cindric, I think.
Having a decent day. Austin stayed in the top 15 all day long. Heard you say you were getting happy with your race car. How frustrating is this to be out now?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like you said, we had a solid day. Pit crew had done an awesome job. Yeah, I mean, it's just racing, man. I mean, when you're 4 wide, the first car that hit the wall is going to be me, right? So, yeah, I was trying to keep it off off the rest of the field, and just I guess other cars got caught up in that. But yeah, I knew the 20 car was down there. I didn't know the 22, and I saw the 20 flash of purple just shoot up in front of me, and 11 had to hit the brakes. I had to jump on the brakes. Just it sucks. I'm snap on 4 Mustang was decent. Like I said, I had a decent day, and just sucks to give away all those points. We're just on the fringe there, man, and we gotta make the most of every day. And I know it's a long way out, but yeah, don't like watching the end of these things.
Glad you're okay. Thanks, Austin.
Yeah, a lot of damage to that 2 car has put him out of the race.
Michael McDowell with some cosmetic work. A little bit of duct, the 180 mile an hour tape is what we'll call it.
1 to go this time, and through the chews they go. And again, it'll be the Kyles on the front row.
You think the Joshes are now going to be taking bets on how long it is before the next caution comes out?
Well, I don't quite know why we're going all crazy here. There's still 70 laps to go.
Absolutely. I agree.
Really know why we've lost our minds here. Update in the ice. Dallas leads Vegas 1-0. Wyatt Johnston has scored the goal. Another goal from Wyatt Johnston in that series.
So is Josh messaging you on Twitter or Facebook? Because I'm not seeing the messages in
Mixer he's chat. On Twitter. He's on Mixer. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere. You might not know what that means. It's it was an old historic sketch or something. He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Well, let's see if
person who isn't exactly the most pop culturally sensitive.
No, what gave you that idea?
The fact you'd never heard of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. The fact you'd never heard of some other people.
I've heard of Brian Wilson, just not Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. But anyway,
the Beach Boys, they were a '60s singing group, by the way. The Beach Boys were.
Coming to the restart. Busch on the inside of row 1, Larson to his outside, green flag in the air. Truex was glued and screwed to the bumper cover of Busch's car before they even took the green flag, and they are shoved into turn 1, and Busch has the lead by a nose. Larson charges back topside.
Busch and Larson side by side. Well, they snake down to way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Busch forces Larson up to the high side as they get to turn 3. But we know Larson likes that high line. He is staying right there with Busch. A little bit of a wiggle. Larson by a wheel off 4.
Got a crash out of turn 4. Joey Logano is spinning onto the grass. He will avoid everybody else as Logano comes back to the apron in a smoky pile, and the caution is out again.
He got a little spin.
Again, I question why we are losing our minds. There are 70 laps to go still. We have another pit stop to make in this race. What are we doing?
You think the radar might have the answer to that question?
Maybe. By the way, Josh T said that he does know what you were talking about there. Like I said, I had no chance of knowing what that was. I am not a pop culture person. But Josh T knew what you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, he's everywhere thing. Okay.
Yeah, he knew what you were talking about. I do not.
My God.
No.
Josh T knows what I'm talking about. Matthew Owens does not.
That's right. See what happened to Logano exiting turn 4. He was alongside Brad Keselowski. Chase Briscoe checked up in front of Logano. He had to bail out of the throttle. That got Todd Gilliland to his outside. It took the air off of Logano, and he lost it, and around he went, and it has been just a terrible start to the season for Joey Logano.
Tell you what, Austin Dillon did a good job of avoiding that mess.
Yes, as I said, I am not a pop culture person. If it came across as if I was saying anybody else, no. I was talking about me. I am not a pop culture person. Oh, heck no. Meanwhile, Josh Birch sends the message to me. We are all tired. Yes.
Yeah, I bet you are.
I would imagine that is the norm over there. I want to know how much sleep they get.
Probably not a lot.
I mean, this race at this rate, we're not going to end until 10 Eastern. So it's been 32 laps since most of these leaders have been on pit road. Top 13, in fact. It's been 32 laps since they've been on pit road. Let's see. Brad Keselowski in 14th. It's been 20 laps since he's been on. So we'll see if anybody comes to pit road this time around. Josh, none. Yeah, no, they get no sleep. None.
Yes, sleep? What's that? Sleep. S-L-E-E-P. Not sure why I just spelled it, but like a certain someone that the Joshes don't know who it is. I think I'm just talking to hear myself talk at this rate.
Now, Josh T says he and Omi are battling it out on a NASCAR Roblox game. When I first read that, I saw Redbox. I was like, how does he feature into all of this?
Jeez,
but no, it's a Roblox
He's probably
game.
Drinking himself. He's probably drinking himself in another stupor after the Maple Leafs let him down again.
No kidding.
That should be Redbox's Twitter bio. It should be, when I die, I want the Maple Leafs to bury me so they can let me down one more time.
Yeah, those poor souls.
Well, not Paul Bissonnette. He's not. I don't like him. I knew as soon as he guaranteed last night they were going to get. He's like, oh God, you idiot. We're going to have 4 box office series in the second round. Hey, this is for the restart. I have been held 465 laps to go. A really big effing deal right here.
Oh, is tonight the Tom Brady roast?
It might be. I bet that's something. I bet that'll be something. I like those roasts now. Speaking of roast, oh my goodness. Hello. Turkey's roasting on an open fire.
Oh.
I know Matthew doesn't like hearing those songs, even in December, but especially not in May.
And I think...
But that's the first thing that came to my mind.
There's been a joke said by Jeff Ross that Tom was not a fan of.
That Tom was not what enough?
Not a fan of.
Oh, okay. Jeff Ross that's basically what he is. He is a roast comic. He shows up at all these roasts, and he tells jokes, and he just roasts everybody. He's pretty freaking funny.
Here come the leaders to pit road with 66 to go.
Going to do, it ended up being an earthquake as the pit call, which should be 2 tires right here. They talked about it for a while. In the 45 car, Tyler Reddick had been getting better all day long, but he has been tight all day long. They've had to free that car up. Jamie?
And same thing with the 54 Ty Gibbs. They've been tight. They've been freeing him up. They came in because the leaders came in. Lakeside is the call for Kyle Larson. In for 4 tires. Air pressure adjustment almost hits the 21 on exit.
Let me tell you, we're going to have a jumbled up running order because there were a bunch of guys that took 2 tires. Busch, Chastain, Gregson, Bell, LaJoy, and Austin Dillon all took 2 tires, so too did Riley Herbst. And we are going to have a jumbled up running order for this restart, as you're going to have guys that took 2 ahead of guys that took 4. And this is going to, boy, if you thought the last 4 restarts were something.
Oh, God, buckle up, Buttercup.
Shoo. You think this roast will get Tom Brady to come out of retirement again?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, everybody's talking about how he doesn't. He's not going to do Fox.
What? Oh, God. Well, maybe someone needs to come back to show Mahomes who the real GOAT is.
There's a video on Twitter, meanwhile, of someone in the seats at Kansas that had a perfect video of the Corey LaJoie Jimmy Johnson crash, and the tweet reads something of, "In case you need to know what happened, Corey LaJoie attempted murder on Jimmy Johnson."
Bro!
He did dump him. My gosh.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we talked about all those guys that took 2 tires. There's 3 guys, it looks like, that stayed out. Todd Gilliland, Brad Keselowski, and Denny Hamlin have all stayed out. So they're actually going to be the leaders on this restart, because remember, they pitted on the caution before. So they stayed out and will have a chance to be the leaders for the restart. Hear all this talk about Ford isn't winning, and Ford, we might not see Ford win for a while. Chris Buescher's been up there all day, and he's going to be up there for the restart here. So too will Todd Gilliland and Justin Haley. Haley didn't pit either. He'll restart 4th. So we're going to get 1 to go this time, and we're going to go through the choose. And can we please get 2 laps in before a caution?
I get more than like 3 laps.
Josh T. heard you singing and says, on every broadcast, there is always a point where Seth loses it. We have now reached that point.
I gotta be honest with you, I'm just laughing. That's my reputation now.
Yeah.
Hey, I like it. I'll sign up for it. This isn't brain surgery here. We're here to have fun. We're here to have a.
Oh dear.
I'm glad to know I'm glad to know that I am that guy for somebody.
Oh, your reputation.
Oh boy.
Precedes you.
Yeah. Yes, it does. I was singing. Someone said I was singing one time. I sound like a dying calf in a hailstorm.
Well, I resemble that remark.
Why? Why? I wasn't insulting you. That someone's talking about me.
Well, I know, but I said I resemble that remark, but.
Oh, you resemble it.
That's a Jerry Punch thing.
Oh God. Oh, he's getting stuffed in there.
Oh boy. All
Who's
right.
gonna get their mojo for this restart?
Well, this is going to be a wild restart. We got 5 guys up front that did not pit. We got even more
yeah,
that
the
took
last
just 2
4 haven't
tires. And then we got a lot of guys towards the back that took 4. Green flag in the air, Todd Gilliland and Denny Hamlin on the front row for this restart. And Justin Haley dives to the apron. And then Gilliland zigzags to his inside to block off Haley. It gives Hamlin a free run up top. And Denny Hamlin's going to have the lead off turn 2.
Their lead off turn 2. They fan out about 3 wide. Middle of the pack. Kyle Busch nearly got turned. Kept it pointing in the right direction, though. Christopher Bell got in the back of him there. Busch keeps on trucking, though. And here's Martin Truex Jr. out of Narnia on fresh tires, blowing by the field as if they're standing still.
Yeah, he just passed 4 cars in one corner. They are 5 wide across the line further back, 4 wide throughout the middle of the pack, but they were 5 wide out of turn 4. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was in the middle of it. Meanwhile, up front, Chris Buescher's going for the lead on Denny Hamlin.
Buescher to the back of Denny Hamlin as they continue to fan out further back. How about Darrell Wallace Jr.? He was in an accident a minute ago. Here he is up into 3rd position.
He's got pressure at the back door coming from Kyle Busch, who just slipped by Todd Gilliland. But now Gilliland roars back to the outside of Busch. Meanwhile, at the front, Buescher is as close to Hamlin as you can get as Busch and Wallace battle for position behind them. Here's Buescher for the lead.
Busher way down to the inside, battling Denny Hamlin for the number 1 spot. Busher on the inside, Hamlin on the outside. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch gets third from Wallace. Hamlin and Busher side by side, all 4.
We know Chris Busher has a really strong car. He led the most laps and won stage 2. He pulls alongside Hamlin and beats him to the line by a nose. They race down into turn 1. Busher keeps it on the bottom. Hamlin keeps it wound up topside, but I think Chris Busher's got the lead made.
Yep, he's got it. So Chris Busher to the lead. On the back straightaway, Hamlin to second. Here's Wallace now. He'll finally surrender that third spot to Kyle Busch. Todd Gilliland in 5th, but under pressure as he washes up the track.
So Chris Busher, the leader off the wild restart. Hamlin backslides to second. Further back, Kyle Larson, who took 4 tires, trying to make up ground. He's to the outside of Christopher Bell. He's to the bumper cover of Michael McDowell. Just ahead of them, you've got Darrell Wallace Jr. and Todd Gilliland.
Larson clear of Bell for that 7th position. Bell back to 8th. Truex. 9th. Corey LaJulie in 10th, and I'll be right back.
Noah Gragson 3 wide around the outside of Chase Elliott and Justin Haley. And Gragson and Elliott are in a fist fight here for 13th. And Elliott then slices to the inside. He gets right underneath the spoiler of Justin Haley's car. And Elliott splits through a couple of cars. He'll get by Gragson, but he hasn't been able to pass Haley yet. Further up ahead of him, Carson Hocevar and Martin Truex Jr. nearly made contact on the back straightaway. Everybody going all out, 101% here, trying to get to the front. Kyle Larson on the exit of turn 4 came right across the nose of Darrell Wallace Jr. He passes him. Now he's going to attack McDowell. Larson's going for 5th in turn 1.
He is going for 5th, and he will make the pass stick on Michael McDowell. So he's passed one front row car. Now he sets his sights on another in the form of Todd Gilliland as Larson moves up. Meanwhile, Hamlin trying to stalk Busher once again.
Yeah, Busher got the lead, but Hamlin has not let him get away. At the line, they both cut down onto the apron, and Busher's lead is a tenuous one. Further back on 4 fresh tires, Ty Gibbs is struggling to get through the field. He's trapped in behind Josh Berry and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Hamlin now right to the back bumper of Busher down the back straightaway. Here comes Hamlin. He'll go to the inside. Busher high. Hamlin about a groove lower. He'll try to work some space to the bottom, but he's going to get alongside him actually off 4.
Yeah, here they are at the line. Just about dead even. Hamlin and Busher for the lead. Hamlin has a nose in front as they approach turn 1. He'll crank it to the bottom. Busher keeps it wound up top. Who's got the advantage off turn 2? Seth Eves.
Denny Hamlin by a scotch, but Busher fights back on the outside as they go side by side for the lead, going into turn 3. Dead even. Hamlin inside. Busher outside. Busher has the lead. Hamlin fights back inside.
This is the kind of racing that we have been treated to all day long here at Kansas. Busher across the line with a nose in front. Hamlin drags him back with the side draft. Into turn 1. Busher keeps it up top. He's got a door on Hamlin as they exit 2.
So here's Busher on the outside with Denny Hamlin on the inside. Side by side going to 3. And Hamlin is going to clear Busher. So Hamlin back at the top spot. Meanwhile, Matthew Larson just took 4th from Gilliland.
He sure did. And boy, Hamlin just crammed that car into turn 3 on the bottom and hoped that it would stick, and it did. And it gets him the lead. Now Chris Busher claps back at him. To the inside goes Busher as he tries to regain the top spot.
Try being the operative word, though. Hamlin shuts the door on the back straightaway. Further back, here's Chase Elliott. He'll make a move to the outside of Tyler Reddick to grab a position. So the 9 car getting a spot here as we're into the final stages. 51 to go at the line. Hamlin leads.
Yeah, still a long way to go here. And for these guys that didn't pit under the last caution, they are not fully sure that they can make it the whole way on fuel. Of course, they had a lot of caution laps in there to help that cause, however.
That's exactly right. So it's Hamlin, Busher, Busch, Larson, Gilliland, McDowell, Wallace, Bell, Truex, Hocevar, your top 10. But Hocevar is under fire from Chase Elliott in turn 3. Here's Elliott to the inside. He'll look to grab 10th from the rookie.
So Elliott digs deep on the inside. He'll fan down to cut the apron as he tries to get around Carson Hocevar. And while those two run side by side, it's providing a double slipstream for Tyler Reddick to close in on them. Let's pick up the fight for the lead heading back to turn 3.
Hamlin with the lead by about a car length over Busher. Hamlin now goes to that middle-ish lane. Busher on the higher lane right up against the wall, but it's still Denny Hamlin who leads off 4.
Comes back to the main straightaway with now 49 laps to go. Hamlin searching for back-to-back wins. He won at Dover a week ago. It would be his 4th win of the season. Chris Busher right on his tail. Ducks to the inside in turn 2.
Does duck to the inside in 2. Hamlin, though, keeps the lead as they mosey down the back straightaway. Further back, our series champion Ryan Blaney battling with Noah Gregson for a spot on the back straightaway, and Blaney will pass Gregson. Forward on Ford Crime going to turn 3. Meanwhile, 11th place, Tyler Reddick outside of Carson Hocevar.
Up out of turn number 4, Gibbs will make that pass on Hocevar. Justin Haley's in that scrap too. Haley restarted.
It's not Gibbs, that's Reddick.
Reddick, sorry. Yeah, they do interchange the Monster Energy so much on that. So Reddick makes up that position there. Meanwhile, just a note about Chris Busher. He outdueled Denny Hamlin for a win last summer at Richmond. He outdueled another Gibbs car in Martin Truex Jr. last summer for a win at Michigan. So Busher knows how to battle these Gibbs Toyotas and beat them late in these races. That's what he's got in front of him right here.
Goes high. Hamlin, though, slides up the slipstream and able to shut that slipstream off. Nose to tail. Less than a car length, a little less than a car length. Now Busher goes up the track. Hamlin goes up too. Hamlin with the lead by about a car length over Chris Busher.
Well, would you believe Hamlin the win at Dover in the fashion that he got it over Kyle Larson last Sunday? Now, all week long, the talk has been about air blocking in NASCAR. He's trying to do it to Busher here, but Busher tries to take the spot back from him, but can't do it off 2.
Hamlin will remain clear to the lead, and he might even get Busher by an extra half a car length or even a full one. Now a 2-car length lead for Hamlin going into turn number 3. Slowly driving away. Good lap this time for Denny Hamlin.
Kyle Busch is 3rd, 1.2 seconds behind this battle. Then Larson 4th, Todd Gilliland 5th. Hamlin across the line, leading by 3, maybe 4 car lengths on Busher. They're back in turns 1 and 2.
Hamlin is now gapped Busher by about 2 car lengths of the exit at turn number 2. Then the 2 Kyles, Busch and Larson 3rd and 4th. Those front row cars have stayed steady. Gilliland 5th and McDowell 6th. Wallace staying tight in 7th. Truex has stalled in 8th. Bell 9th. Elliott has stalled in 10th.
And William Byron has not been able to make up any ground on his 4 fresh tires. He is mired back in 20th. It's just been such a difficult day for Byron. He hasn't been able to make his way through traffic like we thought he might throughout this day. He came into this day, we thought he was going to be a real contender, Byron, and really we haven't talked about him towards the front all evening long. Let's pick up a battle for 7th.
Martin Truex Jr. to the inside of Bubba Wallace as they go to turn 3, and he blows right by him. So move Truex to P7, Wallace back to 8th, and now Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott will close in on that lime green 23, or that aqua 23, I guess you would call it.
And Wallace, who of course was involved in one of those many cautions here at the start of the final stage, terrific rebound from him. Let's pick up the leaders again as they shoot towards turn 3.
Yeah, Busher not letting Hamlin get away. Denny Hamlin, the best driver all time of the Cup Series at Kansas as far as wins. He's already won here 4 times, looking for a 5th. Busher, though, going to make it difficult for him.
Yeah, Busher closes right in on him as they come down the main straightaway. Back towards turn 1 goes Hamlin and Busher for the lead. Busher's going to peel to his inside. Hamlin stays up top. He'll take that advantage off the top of the banking.
So Hamlin's lead about a car length or so over Chris Busher, maybe even 2 car lengths. They get by the wounded Harrison Burton machine. Busher now trying to find a way through, goes about a scotch lower, but can't make up any ground.
Hamlin protecting that top lane. He wants to keep that car wound up top and then get the run down the straightaway from keeping that engine wound up. In turn 1, let's see if he'll take it back to the top this time around. The answer to that question is yes, he did.
Busher stays right on Hamlin's back bumper, not letting Denny get too far away. As they go to turn 3, Hamlin up against the wall. Busher now trying to drive it in. Hamlin, though, goes about a half a lane lower to block.
Here they are to the line with now 40 laps to go here in Kansas. 40 laps, 60 miles left in what has been a marathon day in Kansas City. Denny Hamlin still leads.
Denny Hamlin with the race lead. Meanwhile, further back, Ross Chastain. Boy, he really hasn't been the same since that kerfuffle, that 5-wide kerfuffle earlier in the second stage.
Meanwhile, here's Chris Buescher. He got to the outside of Hamlin on the exit of turn 4. Hamlin left a little bit of room available to his outside. Buescher takes advantage, and as they cross the line, Buescher has a nose in front. He might just clear Hamlin in 1. No, not yet. Hamlin keeps his foot in it. He'll go around the middle of the racetrack. Does Buescher have the lead this time? I think he does.
Kyle Busch in the catbird seat, where we heard that before when he's running in third in a late race battle. Here's Hamlin inside of Buescher, dives it into turn number 3, slides up the racetrack. Denny Hamlin back to the top spot. Buescher gains.
Yeah, Buescher got a good exit. He's going to cut down below the white line on the apron. Hamlin goes down there, too, to try to block off Buescher's advance. He did it marvelously. They go back to turn 1. Hamlin this time not going to leave him any room to exploit the outside.
Hamlin's lead remains steady at about a car length. Buescher right in his tire tracks, heading to turn number 3. Hamlin and Buescher both up against the wall. Hamlin a little bit closer to the wall than Buescher, and he'll gap Buescher by an extra car length.
So here is Denny Hamlin leading late again, just as he was at Dover last weekend. Further back at 7th, Christopher Bell slices to the inside of Michael McDowell. He's going to make that pass, so Bell, the pole sitter, slots up into 7th.
So Christopher Bell to 7th, and meanwhile Hamlin's lead on Buescher about 3 car lengths still as they go into turns 3 and 4. Buescher will try to close the gap, but not to be. Hamlin still P1.
Denny Hamlin in his Sport Clips Toyota leads. Larry McReynolds with a thought.
Well, he's way late on the straightaway, both ends of the racetrack, getting back full throttle. It's like it changes on him almost from lap to lap.
Well, it was definitely 2 laps.
Larry looking at the telemetry of these 2 lead cars from his Charlotte, North Carolina studio. Hamlin leads still by 3 car lengths on Buescher as they make the way to 3. Larson has passed Busch for 3rd. So Kyle Larson, who for much of the day has had the fastest car here, he's now been released from the shackles that Kyle Busch had on him, and now he can try to go up and catch these 2 leaders. 35 laps to go. Hamlin, Buescher, Larson, they're in turn 1.
Oh boy, 3 under a blanket soon maybe. That could be fun and spicy. But it's Denny Hamlin with the race lead by a couple of car lengths over Chris Buescher as they go down the back straightaway. Hamlin continuing to just nurse the car. Now he'll let off a little bit. Buescher will close in by about a scotch, but not enough to make a serious dent.
We got a report from Josh T that Hamlin has been told that this is going to be a very long run. He has to manage everything. Well, if he's been managing everything on this run, he hasn't been looking like he has been. He's the leader as they clear turn 2.
Buescher able to get a little bit closer to him, though, as they exit turn 2 and head down the back straightaway. So it is Denny Hamlin over Chris Buescher, then Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, Todd Gilliland, Christopher Bell, Michael McDowell, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, the top 10.
Meanwhile, these top 3 drivers proving us wrong. We talk about every week, if you have a mistake on pit road, it's going to be very hard to recover. All 3 of these drivers have had issues on pit road. Hamlin and Larson both had slow stops. Chris Buescher had a pit road penalty.
Indeed. But yeah, here they are right here, which again shows what we know, huh? We really know what we're talking about.
Hamlin clears turn 4 with his lead still intact on Chris Buescher. He comes to the line. 32 laps to go. 4 car lengths the difference, and Kyle Larson not making much of a gain so far, back in 3rd.
He's kind of stayed static for the time being. It's still Denny Hamlin at the front of this field as the laps wind down. Hamlin with the lead as they now go into turns 3 and 4. Another lap car ahead of these leaders. Hamlin's still your leader.
Sweeps up out of turn number 4. He's got the Austin Hill automobile just in front of him that he'll have to maneuver his way around. Remember, he's got to be careful doing that. Remember, we've seen a couple of leaders nearly have a coming together with a lap car on the exit of turn 2, and that's where Hamlin is now trying to pass Hill.
Yeah, Hill way down to the bottom, though, and I couldn't quite tell. Yeah, so Hamlin gets by Hill. Busher, though, not quite by him yet. Now he'll go to the outside of that beaten, battered, and bruised number 33 machine. Denny Hamlin still leads by 2 car lengths.
And Chris Buescher tries to close in. Further back, Chase Elliott is still on the move, methodically making his way towards the front. He is 9th. He wants 8th. He tries to take it from Michael McDowell. Meanwhile, the fight for the lead gets spicy again as they head down the back stretch.
Yeah, Buscher's close it to about a car length down the back straightaway. So it's Hamlin and Buescher as they go to turn number 3. Right in the tire tracks is Buescher of Denny Hamlin. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott about to grab that 8th spot, goes to the inside. He'll take it. So move car 9 to P8. Elliott to 8th. McDowell drops back to 9th.
So Elliott makes that pass up to the 8th position. It's going to be too little too late for him. His car's gotten better as the race has gone on. Up front, Hamlin and Buescher still jostling for the lead.
Excuse me. Yeah, they are still jostling for that lead as they head down the back straightaway. Again, about a car length and a half the lead for Denny Hamlin as they venture out of turn 4.
Hamlin just holding on to this lead. It fluctuates between 2 and 5 car lengths on any given lap, but Hamlin is managing it well. Kyle Larson in 3rd, not making any ground up on these top 2 yet.
Yep, indeed. So Hamlin maintains his lead by about a car length over Chris Buescher as they head down the back straightaway. Kyle Larson not too far back as he rides in that 3rd position, although he has been gaining. He's gained about 3/10, so he's gaining interval-wise, even if it doesn't look like he's gaining much.
Yeah, he's just inching away at it, but you're going to need feet or yards more than inches to make up the positions that he needs with only 27 laps to go. The leaders are in turn 2.
Hamlin maintains his lead. It is about a 2-car length advantage over Chris Buescher's, and it's a ways back before you get to the 3rd place machine of Kyle Larson. Hamlin with the lead up against the wall, then Buescher to the bottom. Can't quite do much about it, though. Hamlin still leads by 2 car lengths.
Last week, Denny Hamlin scored the win at Dover, and with that win, it was the 54th of his career. It tied him with Lee Petty for 12th most all-time. If he wins this race today, he'll clear Lee Petty and tie Rusty Wallace for 11th on that all-time wins list.
And he can see it in the distance now, 25 and a half to go. He leads by 0.3 of a second going into turn number 3. Buescher trying to reel him in, but he seems to have dropped back a little bit. I'm with you, Matthew. If they're telling Denny Hamlin to save, I don't think he's listening.
Yeah, he's stretching this lead out. Kentucky Derby was yesterday. Hamlin is coming into the final stretch, and he is kicking away from the rest of the competition.
Yep, saving his best for when it matters as Denny Hamlin heads down the back straightaway into turn number 3 in that Sport Clips Toyota. Cooley drives into 3, smooth as can be. He goes bottom. Buescher now tries the top line for some momentum.
Oh, that was interesting that Hamlin gave up the top, and Buescher has closed in. Oh, my goodness, all it took was one set of corners for Hamlin to give the top to Buescher, and Buescher's within 0.3 of a second on him again.
Indeed.
Yeah, I would not be giving up the top willy-nilly like that. For some reason, we're focused in on a battle for 14th, while the battle for the lead is hot and heavy. Here comes Hamlin on the exit of turn 4. Buescher, he closed 2-3 car lengths in that one set of corners. Hamlin has gotten back to running the top here. Don't overthink this if you're Denny Hamlin. That's how Ryan Sieg lost the Xfinity race at Texas just a couple of weeks ago.
I think he heard you. He's right up against the wall again out of 2. Buescher, though, not letting him get away. So Denny Hamlin, that's why I wasn't talking last time, because the camera never got to the battle for the lead. But Hamlin maintains the lead by about a car length. Buescher stays right in his tire tracks, both on the outside.
Kyle Larson is still 1 second behind these two. It would almost seem as if Larson doesn't have the car that he needs at this moment to get up and battle Hamlin and Buescher for this win. We're down to 22 laps left.
22 laps to go. Denny Hamlin is still your leader over Chris Buescher as they head down the back straightaway. It is Hamlin with the lead. And Buescher trying to close in. Hamlin with the lead.
Back to the main straightaway and across the line. 1/4 of a second is the gap on the stopwatch. Hamlin leading Chris Buescher. They're back in turns 1 and 2.
So Hamlin keeps the lead as the field heads out of turn 2. Buescher about a car length back. Then Larson, Busch, and Truex, the rest of the top 5. Again, yeah, I'm with you. Larson just doesn't quite have it. He's going to need a caution, or he's going to need the 11 and 17 to rough each other up and race too hard.
And, of course, that still could happen. 20 to go as Denny Hamlin crosses the stripe. This marathon day in Kansas City just about done. 20 laps left. Some lap traffic in front of the leaders. The first car they'll come across is that of Riley Herbst.
Riley Herbst will be in lane. Denny Hamlin with a car length lead over Chris Buescher as they go to turn 3. Hamlin now trying to stretch it out. They're hoping and praying on that 17th pit box. Scott Graves, well, it's out of his hands.
Two of the best crew chiefs in the business, crew chiefing these two cars that are at the front, in Chris Gabehart for the 11, Scott Graves for the 17, Cliff Daniels for the 5 runs in third. They're in 2.
Hamlin's lead about 2 car lengths as Riley Herbst will give way on the inside. Although Buescher hasn't got to Herbst yet. Caught him at a bad spot, so that's not going to help the 17. So here's Hamlin. He has the lead. Buescher now goes to the top side of the racetrack. Again, Hamlin giving up the top.
And Buescher does clear Herbst this time around. Chris Buescher started last season with just 2 wins in the Cup Series. Then he won 3 races last year in a 5-race span at Richmond, Michigan, and Daytona. He's trying for his first win of 2024.
Off the 2, down the back, straightaway, a car length and a half is the difference. Herbst gives way and lets Kyle Larson by. Larson running in third. Again, third might be what he has to settle for here tonight. Hamlin, though, still leads by 2 car lengths over Buescher.
And Ford has never had to wait this long into a season to get their first win in the Cup Series. They are starving for a blue oval to get to victory lane in a cup race. This is the 12th race of the year, and it's their best chance to this point.
Hamlin with the lead out of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway is Hamlin, and it is Buescher, and then Larson running in third. Cliff Daniels looking on, hoping against hope, kind of like Scott Graves is. Hamlin has stretched the lead out again.
Denny Hamlin struggling a little bit to get around Daniel Suarez. He dropped to the bottom of 3 and 4, Hamlin did. He could not pass Suarez. He'll try again in turns 1 and 2.
Suarez making it difficult for him on the outside, already a lap down in that 30th position, but Chris Buescher really isn't fast enough. It would appear to take advantage of that. So Hamlin with the lead, still going 3, finally clears Suarez in that number 3 corner, and Denny Hamlin on cruise control now.
Yeah, Hamlin has stretched it out to
did Larson get the wall there?
0.6 of a second, and Larson pushing in third may have just touched the wall on the exit of turn 4. He hasn't lifted yet. He's still third. Kyle Busch is 4th. 5th is Martin Truex with 15 to go.
Yeah, I could have sort of got the wall there. Then it's Bell, Keselowski, Gilliland, Elliott, and Blaney. That'd be really good for Todd Gilliland if he can hold on to a top 10 finish. Meanwhile, Buescher's teammate Brad Keselowski, 7th. Good night, Matthew, but that winless drought is going to continue.
Well, and it's amazing that he's made it up to the top 10. He was nowhere in the first 2 stages of this race, capitalized on the stage 3 chaos to get to a top 10 spot, and he's held it there. Meanwhile, Buescher is being held up by Daniel Suarez. Remember, Suarez did this to a bunch of leaders last week.
Ooh, Kyle Busch washed up the track a little bit out of turn 2, allowed Martin Truex Jr. to get by. So move Truex into the 4th position. Busch gets dropped back to 5th. So Truex trying to gets him an extra spot in the final laps.
Boy, Buescher was held up massively by Daniel Suarez that lap. He just lost 0.6 of a second to Denny Hamlin. And if here's Ty Gibbs on pit road. Now that's big for Gibbs to be on pit road, because we still aren't 100% sure if Hamlin and Buescher can make it to the flag without pitting for fuel.
Where's Pierre Moss at? Hamlin has the lead.
And remember,
There's Harrison Burton out of 4.
Gibbs is a teammate to Denny Hamlin as well. So we'll see if Hamlin has to come to pit road in these last 12 laps for fuel. But that last couple of laps, he stretched his lead way out as Buescher struggled to get by Suarez. It's 1.4 seconds.
See, that would tell me that Hamlin's probably okay then. That they told him, okay, you can turn the whip, you can crank up the whip now. And he's got it and then some now. Again, his lead now is nearly 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, and he is saving. He's on the main straightaway, and he's not full throttle. He's lifted 1/3 of the way out of the throttle down the straightaway. I think Hamlin is saving some fuel here, and I think the reason Buescher can't catch him is that Buescher's in the same spot. He also has to save.
All right, there you go. So it's about who could save the most here. Could be what the deal is here is Hamlin goes into turn 3, still looks good, still looks smooth, although he's got 4 lap vehicles ahead of him. Hamlin might try to draft off
4 out the back. Manage that gap. I need it all.
Just told him to save. Need him to save as much as he can. He's getting through some traffic in turn 1. He just put away Ryan Preece.
Real quick, let me ask you a question, Matthew. This is where he drafts off a couple of these cars to save some fuel?
Absolutely. He's got 1.5 seconds on Buescher, so he's got plenty of space back to Buescher that he can protect, stay in behind some of these lapped cars, and draft off of them. Now, you don't want to get so close where you get the air taken off the nose of your car, but he has just gotten around Zane Smith. Meanwhile, Truex has passed Larson, and he has jetted from him. Truex is over 1 second away from Larson. Larson is struggling.
All right, so Truex salvaging a top 3 finish perhaps here in the final stages, and he's stalking Buescher for second. Look at Martin Truex Jr. go. Some say he's never won an exciting race. He can still change that, perhaps.
Remember, Hamlin and Buescher last stopped on lap 194. They're trying to go 73 laps to the end. They did have caution time in there, but they're trying to go 73 laps without stopping. Truex has taken second. Larson might be losing 5th now to Brad Keselowski.
Larson fading in the final moments. Now, all Joe Gibbs Racing battle for the win, it would appear. Can Truex get to Denny Hamlin? And can Hamlin draft off other cars and try and save on fuel as Corey LaJoie nearly caused a wreck?
Yeah, I'm sure Hamlin would like these lapped cars to get out of his way a little bit better. They were 2 and 3 wide ahead of him heading through turns 3 and 4. We're down to 7 laps to go. And now it has become Hamlin versus Truex. And Truex is slicing through traffic.
My goodness.
Kyle Busch!
Truex. Oh, trouble. Kyle Busch spins off turn number 2. Kyle Busch spins off turn 2. He was running 4th. Does not hit anybody or anything. Oh, well, there that went out the window.
Well, now everybody's got a pit. Surely.
Goodness me.
Everybody's going to have to pit here. But who takes the risk of taking 2 tires or fuel only? And Busch was all by himself and lost it. Caution is out.
Solo.
And we are going to have a ton of drama for you now. We've had a ton of drama all day. But with 7 laps to go, make it 6 laps to go, the caution comes out. Hamlin's lead evaporates. And you have to think everyone's going to come to pit road. Remember the fall race here a year ago? You had drivers restarting at the front on 2 tires, but it was 4 tires and Tyler Reddick that won the race. Pit road should be open not this time, but next time around, and we'll see who does what.
Oh, is this going to be spicy?
And what a chance for some of these drivers that are lurking to maybe go off strategy and take 2 tires. Maybe just don't even come in at all if you're good on fuel and try to steal a win. We're talking about Brad Keselowski, Todd Gilliland, Noah Gragson, Josh Berry, who's 11th, Justin Haley, 12th. All drivers that could go off strategy here and try to steal a win. But I have to think Hamlin and Buescher for sure. They have to come in, if for anything else, fuel. Because they're not good to go on fuel, especially if we go into 1 or 2 overtimes.
Hill will be 2 laps down, so that'll be a clear out.
Okay. Here's the 11.
All right, that's a lot of tire wear, bud, but it's going to be a green-white checker. I think the call is vegetables. Okay.
Nobody likes vegetables. Did you hear that?
Of course, they have the secret words these days. And the call is vegetable. Is it a carrot? Is it a broccoli stalk? I like steamed broccoli. Steamed broccoli.
I don't like any kind of broccoli.
Steamed broccoli and a pinch of salt. Okay.
I don't like any kind of broccoli.
Have to think that everyone's going to come in, you would think, to at least get fuel. But who takes tires? Do you take 2 tires? Do you take 4 tires? Everybody comes to pit road, and let's see what happens on the money stop.
Through turns 3 and 4, that was when Chris Gabehart, crew chief for Denny Hamlin, said, bring it. We'll see what the call is here. As you heard, they've been talking to code words. As for the car, he has not said anything about the car this entire run. 2 tires for him. Martin Truex Jr., they've been getting better all day long. It'll be 4 tires for Martin Truex Jr. Jamie.
Keep your eye on Brad Keselowski, the best he has been all night. They called him in for this stop, as well as the 5 of Kyle Larson. Larson saying just too tight. They were in 5th. Why not pit?
Hamlin took 2 tires. He's going to win the race off pit road. Followed by Buescher, Larson, Elliott, Blaney, Gragson, Bowman, Nemechek, Heim, and Truex. Truex took 4 tires. He fell from 2nd to 10th. The top 9 took 2. Corey Heim in the top 10 for this last restart.
Winner last night in the truck race.
Career start number 2 for Corey Heim. In fact, both of the legacy Toyotas, Nemechek and Heim, will be top 10 for the restart. Meanwhile, on USRN, 3rd period just started. Game 7, Vegas-Dallas tied at 1. You can tune in over on USRN for the call there as the reigning champion Golden Knights take on the best in the West, the Dallas Stars, for a spot in the 2nd round. Jarek Rubel has the call for you. 3rd period of Game 7 just underway.
Oh, this is going to be spicy.
Well, remember how wild the last restart was here in the fall of last year with all those guys on old tires and the 4-tire guys trying to run them down. But again, the top 9 here took 2 tires. Truex is going to be the first in line with 4. I think he's going to be too far back. I don't think you're going to be able to pass, 9 cars in 2 laps. And Dallas has scored. Radek Faksa has given Dallas the lead in the 1st minute of the final period. Live on USRN, Dallas and Vegas. That goal by Radek Faksa, who's barely played in the series. We are heading to overtime here in Kansas. And of course, the overtime rules pretty simple. You have unlimited attempts at a clean restart defined as the leader and only the leader receiving the white flag. So if the leader gets to the line to start the final lap, then the next flag, be it yellow or checkered, ends the race. If a caution comes out before the leader receives the white flag, they will try it again, and they'll do that as many times as they need until the race is finished. How is it all going to play out? Overtime at Kansas. We're coming to 1 to go, and we're getting the choose. See where Truex gets to line up at on his 4 fresh tires. He's going to be riding a rocket on this restart. Hamlin chooses the inside of row 1. Buescher goes out 1. Larson goes in 2. Elliott goes out 2. Chase Elliott, Seth, where has he come from? He's going to restart 4th here.
This is going to be interesting, as for sure.
You got
My goodness.
3 drivers here restarting in the top 10 that's never won in the Cup Series. Gregson, Nemechek, and Heim. Heim, forget having never won. This is just his 2nd start.
Jeez. Good run for him. There's Stenhouse on the edge of the top 10. We mentioned him earlier. The only time I mentioned him was in the starting grid, and he had a busy week. JTG re-upped with him.
McDowell in line for a good run as well. Keselowski lost a lot of spots on pit road. Remember, he came in 4th, went out 15th. All right, Seth, there was a certain someone in Miami today, and you're going to bring her up right now.
Hang on to the edge of your seats, folks. This one's going to get wackier than Taylor Swift's love life. Hamlin, Buescher, Larson, Elliott, Blaney, the top 5. Overtime in Kansas City. Let's go, Big Mo.
Toyota and Ford on the front row. Ford has not won yet this year. This is race number 12. Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin nose to tail. Those 2 rivals who finished it between themselves in this race a year ago, going at it. Green flag in the air. Even start on the front row, nose to nose. Larson dive bombs to the apron, gets to the inside of Hamlin, puts him 3 wide. Buescher has the lead in 1. Hamlin gets suckered up by Larson. Larson's cleared a 2nd. He's passed Hamlin.
Chris Buescher clear the lead on the back straightaway. Larson 2nd. Side by side for 3rd. Larson inside. Buescher throws the block. Larson goes outside. Larson can't do anything about it. 3 wide for 3rd, bell lap.
White flag in the air. This is the last lap. Buescher starts the last lap as the leader. Larson right behind him 2nd. 3 wide behind him. This fantastic race comes down to 1 final frantic lap for the win.
Larson trying to pull away from the rest of the pack and trying to make one last run at Buescher. Buescher, though, blocks the air. Buescher goes to turn 3. Larson right up on the outside, up against the wall. He and Buescher make contact. Larson, Buescher, side by side for the win.
Here they come to the line. Larson and Buescher make contact. Elliott and Truex closing in at the line. It's a photo finish, and I think Kyle Larson may have won the race. It's a photo finish at the line. Once again, almost a replica of what we got in Atlanta. Timing and scoring is saying that Chris Buescher has won. It was a photo finish. It's one of the closest finishes in NASCAR history again. An incredible finish. And right to the line.
Got him.
Right to the line, Seth. Oh, my goodness!
Goodness me!
Timing and scoring has Chris Buescher the winner by 1/1000th of a second. That is unofficial.
I don't think his crew knows that.
That is unofficial timing and scoring. Larson is celebrating.
I think Larson's the winner.
It looked to me as if Larson got there first. Timing and scoring is disagreeing with that. If you ever thought you could get a crazier race than this, I don't think it's possible. The finish is under review. Nothing is official. Larson is celebrating.
NASCAR Per the camera, the 5 is our winner. The scoring pylon is wrong.
So Kyle Larson, when it is a dead heat, they go to the photo finish camera, just as they did in Louisville yesterday, to determine that Mystic Dan won the Kentucky Derby. The photo finish camera is required here in Kansas, and Kyle Larson has been scored the winner of the race. It is official. Larson has won. It's the closest finish in NASCAR history. We have just witnessed the closest finish in NASCAR history, Seth. We're almost going to go to IndyCar level here close. The final margin is Larson by 1/10,000th of a second.
Wow!
Remarkable. Larson has climbed from his car. Lost in all of this, Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. trucking from behind nearly got there to give us a 4-wide photo. Chris Buescher still sat in his car. I'm sure the 17 team is thinking, are we sure the photo finish camera is correct? It was that close. Larson out of his car, Jamie Little to talk to him. He has just won the closest race in NASCAR history.
Car history. Jamie Little.
What a thriller in Kansas. Officially the closest finish in NASCAR history. Take us through that last lap.
I don't know. That was wild. I was obviously thankful for that caution. We were dying pretty bad, and was happy to come out, third, and figured my best shot was going to be choose bottom and just try and split 3 wide to the inside, and worked out. My car turned well and was able to get some runs and got through 1 and 2 really good down the backstretch and had a big toe on Chris and got him to kind of enter shallow, and I just committed really hard up top and wasn't quite sure if we were going to make it out the other side. I got super loose in the center, and then we're just trying to I'm trying not to get too far ahead of him to where, he can side draft, and then I'm just trying to kill his run. So it was just, it was crazy. I mean, that race from start to finish was amazing. That first stage was incredible. The second stage, at the end was fun. And then that whole last, stage with the wrecks and cautions and then, fuel strategy and tires running long and all that was wild. So you guys got your money's worth today, and I'm just proud to be a part of the show.
Kyle, I don't know if I've seen something like that. Chris Buescher thought he won. He was out here. At what point did you hear we won?
Same thing. I didn't know if I won or not. I was pumped for the finish, and I can't remember if it was Cliff or Tyler. My spotter said that the 17 got it, and I was like, hey, good job today, team, because that was a great race. And then I got to about turn 3, and Tyler was going crazy up on the roof. So just incredible finish there. I wish we had more mile and a halves. This, we all bitch about the package and all that, but these mile and a halves, these cars just race so amazing. So hats off to this whole 5 team, HendrickCars.com, Chevy, Junior Almond Bar, Valvoline, everybody who's a part of this. This is so cool. Month of May is going to be great for us, so hopefully this just starts some momentum.
Kyle Larson wins in Kansas.
Well, the other side of that extremely close finish, Chris Buescher, you thought that you had it. It was so incredibly close. You guys did a fantastic job all day long. What are the thoughts right now as you digest this?
I don't know what to say right now. I haven't seen a replay other than just a picture, and I sure can't see it in that picture. So that sucks to be that close. I still can't see, but I guess tearing it apart. It was a great finish for us. A really strong day, a lot of speed in this Castrol Edge Forge Mustang, and we really needed that. Needed to win more, and Yeah, I thought we might have had that one. Had a lot of speed there, firing off. We were really good, and really all day, and I'm really proud of that. And had some good strategy to get us back up there, and tried to cover what I could, and gave him half a lane too much, I suppose. But good hard race right there down to the line. But that hurts.
You mentioned the speed that you guys had that you showed today. How important is that as we go forward? Some more mile and a halfs coming up, and the season progresses here.
Yeah, it's speed's good. Wins are better, so need to be in that situation again. Need some trophies, need some check flags, and put ourselves in a much better spot.
Thanks, Chris.
Now on that last lap,
Seth, I don't know how to really put it in words this, so I'll do it in numbers. Martin Truex Jr. finished 4th. He was 75 1/1000ths of a second behind the winner. The top 4 finished within 7 100ths of a second. Denny Hamlin.
And you're like veggies, and you had to come down pit road. How hard was that to go through, having to stop and then facing another restart like that?
Well, it was the right call. Certainly was the right call from Chris' standpoint. I was just worried about cars in the back staying out and us losing to no tire cars, but it didn't work out anyway. Just hindsight, certainly I would have restarted on the outside, knowing that the 5 was going to split us the first chance he got to go for the win. So once he did, it just killed all the momentum. You get drag going from both sides of the car, and I was a parachute in the way at that point. But had a good view of the great finish.
And the great start, great finish for Denny Hamlin brings it home top 5, guys.
If by some possible miracle there is anyone in the higher-ups of NASCAR that is within the sound of my voice, take your 2025 schedule and make Kansas the championship race. The answer is just that simple. Who would have ever thought we would have said this a decade ago? This is the best racetrack on the calendar. And the amazing races that we have had here the last handful of years, they just got obliterated by that finish and that race.
I have nothing to say, so I'll just ask a question, and I'll let someone who has ties to Kansas City ask the question.
I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. It came down to 1,000th of a second and inside 1,000th of a second. It's one of the greatest races that anyone has ever seen. From start to finish, it was a fabulous race. Got a little yellow fever in the middle, at the start of the final stage, but from start to finish, a magnificent race, and finished by one of the best finishes we've ever seen, and the closest finish we've ever seen. Seth, how do we get Atlanta and this in the same year?
This is not a good moment for you, but let me paraphrase Peter Drury. Where does NASCAR go from here?
Oh. Well, we go to Darlington next week, which of course held the record for the closest finish in NASCAR history. It's just been snapped away from Darlington by Kansas. Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch, that record lasted 21 years. Kyle Larson and Chris Buescher at Kansas on the 5th day of May 2024 just gave us the closest finish ever in NASCAR history. You didn't think Atlanta could ever be topped. And then that happens at the end of a marathon day and at the end of a spectacular automobile race.
And a couple of things. One, this is this race. The thing that you gotta like about this and the Atlanta finish is that it wasn't like we lucked into a great finish on a green-white checker after after 200 and some odd boring laps. No, the race in Atlanta was good from lap 1 to lap 328 or whatever, and this was good from lap 1 to lap 270, 271, whatever it was. And I know there are people out there. There are probably people they're going to do it out of spite because it went overtime. If this doesn't get a 95% in the Gluck poll, what are we doing?
Yeah. Just the most incredible race. Obviously, we've been on the air for a very long time. It's been an incredibly long day. We thank you so much for staying with us. And if you did, you just got one of the greatest finishes ever. We're going to quickly sign off here. But first, of course, Seth, final thoughts. I mean, final thoughts of this race could take a while.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm trying to download a video. I'm trying to do two things at once here. And this is probably not the time to do it, but I thought Atlanta was the best race of the season, and I think it got tied. Well, we said we think and hope it'll be well worth the wait.
Wow.
Yeah. Prove that.
Should we even try to vote on driver of the day?
Oh, good. No.
Oh. What a race. What a finish. You can't draw it up. You couldn't even draw it up like that if you tried to script a movie, which I think they did one point in an animated movie about cars, and I think this finish was closer than that one. Kyle Larson, the winner at Kansas. We talked about him all day as the favorite to win the race. We framed it from the start of the day, him and Hamlin in a match race. It did come down to those two at the finish along with three others, and Kyle Larson has scored the win at Kansas in the Advent Health 400. NASCAR continues next weekend at Darlington, the Goodyear 400, USRN, and JBMotorsports. That's next Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We will see you then. Good night from Kansas. Kyle Larson wins the closest finish ever.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a race it was. 1/10,000th of a second. Thanks to Matthew Owens and Seth Eves from USRN for taking you through that incredible race. As Matthew Owens said, next week for NASCAR, we head to Darlington. Hopefully, we'll see you there. Goodbye.